This is Sean. So little, notice with you. Just clean up this single one. What I watch. Fly home. Buddy. So little, notice with you. Now you're outside. You don't see. I'm back. So little, notice with you. Just clean up this single one. What I watch. Fly home. Buddy. So little, notice with you.
Darn you, we go.
What do you mean?
I will not.
Bad thing. Buddy. I'm sorry. After you trust Bernie.
Hurry, honey.
I'm sorry.
Come on.
I am your so little, notice with you. Just cleaned up this single one. What I watch. Fly home. Buddy. So little, notice with you. Now you're outside. My super soon begins again. So little, notice with you. Just cleaned up this single one. What I watch. Fly home. Buddy.
Bob.
So little.
Hey, Will. Well,
Bezos.
prefer to think battery life is not. Prefer to think D-wing and D-wing and
See anyone from the old day, Bob. See anyone from the old day, Bob. See anyone from the old day, Bob. See anyone from the old.
prefer to think battery life is not. Prefer to think D-wing. Say please.
What have we here? See anyone from the old day, Bob. See anyone from the old day, Bob. See anyone from the old. Why what? See anyone from the old. Come on! What did you say to me? Truly are from the old day, Bob. This isn't the end of it. Stop!
Well, these guys, they will prefer to think
I have to do this alone. Get over it.
battery life is not. Well, these guys, they will prefer to think.
Just like old.
Hurry, honey!
I'm sorry. I can't lose you again.
That was totally wicked! That wasn't right. Are we there yet? Look at that. Yes, it doesn't. And more. Dad ran away and I knew I think that his family knows we're going off. With that food and food that you know you did my boy. Coming back. Not that this is us.
To go to the remote and set back again.
One last minute.
So little, notice with you. Just clean up this single one. What I watch. Fly home. Buddy. So little, notice with you. Now you're outside. You don't see. I'm back. So little, notice with you. Just clean up this single one. What I watch. Fly home. Buddy. So little, notice with you. Now you're outside. My super suit. How do I?
Hello, everyone. Yes, Jeff. What an incredible music intro. Yes, that one was called Totally Incredible by Smuffy, and his link to his channels down below. He's another Australian. Funny enough, he's another Australian. Pogo's an Australian. Smuffy's an Australian. Some of these Australians make good music. Anyway, welcome. My name is Daramouthe, or Dara for short, because some people, okay, kids, look, I know you think it's funny. Ha 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 ha, Daramouthe, ha ha. Look, if you keep calling me Daramouthe, I'm going to have to think you're a crazy kid because it's Daramouthe. Get it straight, okay? Get it straight. Anyway, welcome to another chat. You can unmute yourself now.
I got it naturally. I didn't even get it wrong with Daramouthe. Now watch me mess it up. And
Yep.
mention Australians, Oz. I've learned the term Oz from our friend Anna out there. Always calling it Oz. I'm like, where the hell's the Wicked Witch? And where's the Yellow Brick Road? Where's Oz at? Oh, that place. So thanks for having me on tonight. Appreciate it. And hey, Jeff.
You're welcome. Yeah, well, it's a funny thing too, is because with the Wizard of Oz, the movie, right? Because we all know what is it, like 1939 or something like that. That's not actually how the story goes in the books.
Mhm. No, what movie ever follows the book, you know?
Well, not even close. I
Yeah.
mean, the Wicked Witch isn't green.
Yes.
She's not.
No.
The ruby slippers are not ruby. They're silver,
Oh, really?
and
I didn't know that.
yeah, they are silver slippers, and I speak English, of course. Is there? Yeah, yeah. Sure, Jeff. Sure. Hey, horror. But yeah, it was sort of one of those things because I had gone. Of course, I did go see the movie Wicked. Okay, yes, I went to see it. Not because of anything. I just like I was interested in the musical aspect of, and then I went back and listened to like the 2003 Broadway, which came out with Kristen Chenoweth
Hmm.
and India Menzel, or the girl who sang in Frozen, uh, all that stuff. So, um, oh, hello, hello on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Snortopoopus cuber.
It sounds cold in that hot, hot place. Um, but no, and it was an interesting thing too, because people were putting out a whole bunch of stuff during the time when the Wicked thing came
Mhm.
out, and even then, so the whole thing of Wicked, right? The whole thing of Wicked is based upon the movie from the 1930s, which is more fan fiction than fact. And and the movie Wicked is even more fan fiction than the fan fiction.
Well, some fan fiction can be good, like Star Wars. Hell, the Star Wars fan fiction you find nowadays is better than anything than the mouse can come up with. But I mean, I've seen some great fan fiction films with Star
Mm,
Wars that actually made me enjoy Star Wars again. So,
mm.
um,
Oh, unfortunately, that won't ever get its own video course, unlike what's been with Disney World or Walt
no, of
Disney,
course not.
whatever. But I mean, it is what it is. Unfortunately,
Absolutely.
I just, I one thing that gets me about this whole ordeal, the content creator side, is when people say, right, and this is about the Star Wars stuff. It says, Star Wars is dead. I've heard that a
Mhm.
lot. Star Wars is
Yeah.
dead, and then you have to keep talking about it like it's alive. I've always been fascinated by that sort of retrospective where people who are in the sphere talking about it, have seen the movies and all that stuff, and they said it's dead, it's dead, it's done for, all that stuff, and yet they keep coming back to make videos and stuff on it. So is it dead, or is this a Schrodinger's cat where we're just kind of anticipating that death is somewhere in the mix of what it is, if
Well,
at all?
if you want to know what
Mm,
I think it's dead. I think it's dead as a doornail. Period. But you know what? I still like to talk about it. I got collections from the 70s from the original
right.
stuff. I got my memories. I read. I hate reading. I'm not a reader. I don't. I like to watch TV and sports and screw reading. But
Uh,
the Lord of the Rings books, I
uh-huh.
picked up and read and binged. And I binged through a lot of the EU of Star Wars.
Right.
That tells you what it was and where my passion was with it. Uh, so I understand your point. I agree because I don't really talk a lot of Star Wars, except
Yeah.
people on my channel like to give me hell about Darth Maul still living. No, he died once, cut in half, never to come back. They made a mistake. I'm starting a dad man rant because that's what we do here because it pisses me off.
Right.
Really, the guy got cut in half. He was nothing but a punk apprentice, and
Uh,
now they magically bring him back like he did something dark Sith Lords, great
mm,
Sith Lords could not do, keeping themselves alive, and they had spirits, but they had to be. And I just,
yeah.
but he got crab legs and he lives.
But
And
it's
it's
dead.
he's dead. He's
But it's
dead,
no,
and
no,
it's
it's
just
not.
like,
He's dead. But Star
yeah.
Wars is dead.
Well, all of it, because see, that's what they did. They really missed their chance
Mm.
when they came back and didn't bring the originals again. And see,
That was.
I try not to talk about it from that standpoint.
Mm,
I try to I ran about Darth Maul and some of that lunacy,
mm.
but I try to still remember the good stuff. You know,
Well, yeah, I understand. It's just me. It's this conundrum of words that are used to. So this is another thing that's gotten me too about other content creators when it comes to Dawes is beside himself. Well, he's half of himself now. He's half the man he used to be. So that's basically that's basically what it is now. But the other thing is where it comes like movie reviews or TV
Mhm,
reviews,
right?
whatever. I've kept hearing this over and over again, and it irks me to no end, but I don't really get up on it. It's when a content creator I've heard say, "Nobody saw this. Nobody saw this movie. No one watched this show." And I'm like,
Hmm.
"That's wrong because somebody watched it in
Mhm.
order for there to be views on it, right? There was still money made on those new Star
And
Wars
generally,
movies.
the content creators watched it themselves. So I like the
It's
new
true.
excuse now. I watch it so you don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but see, that's what I try not to be. I think to your bigger point is that these people say it's dead, but yet they keep it alive by talking. So a lot of it's making money off of it. They know it
Yeah.
still exists. People, and that's one of the problems with, and we can get back to my philosophies and all this stuff. That's the biggest problem with Twitter, YouTube, and all this other stuff. It's just so much damn negativity and bitch, 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 and complain. I'm sorry if I'm not.
You're
That's
fine.
an acceptable. But it's like complain, 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 and then, oh, hey, we make money off it. But complain, complain, complain. But it's like, where's the positivity? Where is the joy in life? Because I tell you, my memories of Star Wars, yeah, I do think
Mhm.
it died. It's done with the
Mhm.
new stuff. But I hold on to the memories. That Star Wars 1977 is the only movie my father's parents, who lived across the street from me, and my parents went to. And I hold to that memory. The franchise could be dead, but I hang on to those memories, and I would prefer to talk about that type
Mhm.
of stuff than to, like you said. I mean, I mean, it's just the biggest problem with the content creators is they make money off of it. It
Well,
sells, and it's like
that's
my wife worked in TV news. If
mhm.
it leads, if it bleeds, it leads.
Mhm.
Nobody, everybody says they want happy and they want positive, but they go to the negative all the time.
Right, and part of it is I think the culmination of it is what monetization has incentivized in the content creator. And I've spoken on it many times, but what content creation has made, or what monetization in content creation has what made happen. I mean, when Twitter X was
Mm-hmm.
allowing to be monetized, and that was I don't know how long ago. You saw engagement posts, you saw bait posts, you saw all the, and that still is a thing now. Even bots. But the
Mm-hmm.
problem of it is I don't know if you remember, but when YouTube started out, because this was way back in 2005, when
Mm-hmm.
YouTube started out, there was no such thing as monetization. Now you could have a business and
Mm-hmm.
you could be promoting yourself through your videos, which was, a thing of the day. But there was no monetization for any to get money off the videos. Now that
Mm-hmm.
monetization has become the norm, it begs in the question, why does one create and what for? Because that's the
Mm-hmm.
part that gets me at times, because I've watched a lot of different content creators, and sure, I've super chatted or rumble ranted
Mm-hmm.
it or whatever, but at the end of the day, though, what is content creation with what monetization has made it or allowed
Mm-hmm.
to?
Well, it's everybody's different opinion. I think, yeah, and thank you, Anna, for getting. Now I'm going to have to call you Darth Muth now. Thank you, Anna. Dang it, but God, it's damn it, dadgummit. Anyway, um,
Don't
that's
let
what
her.
happens. That's why our late night streams are squirrel streams. We just take a right turn anywhere and we do whatever we want. Sometimes I
Mhm,
say we use the force and we just go whatever we want to. But yeah,
mhm,
you see it in all the content creators that are the big ones. I started out I could say my two gateway drugs into YouTube
mhm,
started before 2020, might have been 2017, 2018. It was
mhm.
obviously Nerdrotic
Right.
and Clownfish TV.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
yeah, I love Clownfish TV, and just I don't watch Nerdrotic as much now,
Yeah.
but for very many reasons. But I still love Geeky Sparkles and Neon, and it's just like the things that's there. And but you sit there, you watch more and more now.
Mhm,
You can just see it. Let's rage watch not just Star Wars, Star
mhm.
Trek, all kinds
Disney.
of different. Yeah, Disney. I'm like,
Mhm,
and at the end of the day, like you said, it
mhm,
depends what your mission is. If you're
mhm,
out to just make money,
mhm.
then you go where the money is.
Yeah.
That is so true. There's no doubt about it. My wife
Mhm,
is monetized, but you know what? She's one that's going to do what makes her happy to make
mhm,
the money as she can.
mhm,
Others want to maximize profits and make a career of it. Okay, that's what you wear, but not. It really goes back to what you want out of it.
mhm.
I'm
You
different. I'm an
Yeah.
oddball.
Well,
And I embrace. That's my wife laughing. She's doing a stream with somebody on that we live in a 990 square foot house.
uh-huh.
She's always telling me, "Damn it, you're too loud in there." Whatever. Hear your voice, and it's like, Now it's my turn because see, we flip change because she's on the PlayStation 5
Uh,
doing that, and I'm out here on her setup
uh,
with the headphones that are held together by shoestring
uh,
and the mic right in front of me. So,
no,
but it's hilarious. But like with me, I just got into this to make friends.
yeah,
I want to make people happy. I want to laugh at the end of the day.
yeah,
I do go on some rants. I will go on a good Darth Maul rant if you let me, full force, and I'll go on a rant later. You said this. I mean, I'm looking at the storm is coming. Well, okay, we live in that land of hurricanes down here. I can bring a storm if you want me to, but
yep,
but to me, like I said, I have a hard time judging the people that want to make money. Okay,
mm,
because they're doing what makes money.
yeah,
But it is hypocritical when you're making your money off of condemning something you don't like or you said is dead.
y-
I agree with that. But then again, that's the point of making money. You may say it,
mm,
but the thing is, the viewers have to decide they don't want to hear the negativity anymore.
it's true
Because
too.
a lot of people, and I've heard it with people, I've had friends that don't watch my channel much anymore. I had this stuff. They either don't stream with me or they whatever, but where they can go, they can get more attention, or it's about the money. I mean, they say, oh, we want real people, we want positivity, and then it's like they're stuck off in chats that is nothing but negative, the same different things and stuff like that. I want a channel where people that I am politically opposite of
Mm,
will come in, feel at home, and have fun with us. I want
yeah,
to be a place where everybody can come in and have fun.
yeah. I don't personally care about politics because that's a whole story in itself. But
Hmm.
the point of the matter of why I do this thing is because I followed, some of those content creators, with geeks and gamers and erotics and all that stuff. And, while their intentions of starting out were uh uh eh, genuinely
Hmm.
good people, there you go. See, you already got a high rating right there by Alaska Man Jeff.
And
Right
I tell
there.
you what, Alaska Man Jeff is a class individual too,
Yeah.
especially up. We've done a few streams on Alaska up there and
Yeah.
the Aleutian Islands. So, Snort, because we are all dad man people. We all
Mm,
sleep through a hurricane and trains and everything else. Mrs. Khan, I can't. People don't believe me that I get my sleep at night sometimes, and it's like I can sleep through. My wife's looked at me like, "You slept through that? Yeah. What happened?"
mm.
So,
That hurricane came.
yeah.
But
Although
but
there was one night that didn't happen, but I can follow up on that later.
yeah, that's usually when the hurricane's really bad that you want to be careful of that. But it's one of those things where I was following a lot of different creators because I just consume content. I've been doing that ever since I remember
Hmm.
the old YouTube when YouTube was a little different looking back
And
then.
that's before me. I think that probably is before when I got in and
Yeah,
watched.
it was definitely during like 2016, 2015 when I started watching it, but that was a different time with 56K P or whatever it was, and you had to go badoom badoom and all that stuff. Dial up
Hmm.
was not a fun time. But now we're all spoiled. But
You
the
got mail.
yeah. Oh, and that guy died not too long ago too.
Oh yeah.
The voice of it, yeah.
No, it's like you get that. It's like I remember days of work when I first started work. The 15th of the month, what's that?
Mm,
Thursday or Friday will be 30 years I've been at one job.
mm.
And I remember the days when we walked in, we only had pencils and paper
Oh
and,
yeah.
and hand calculators.
Hmm.
Then they got one computer that people shared, and then it just went from there. The old days, and I wonder how people could function now back then, because I mean, it took forever to log in if you had a
Hmm.
computer, and then they're all expensive. I remember when Windows 95 was released, and all
Yep.
the midnight, uh, it was like a huge thing, and
Hmm.
you know,
Oh yeah,
uh, it's just
those were. God. No, go ahead. Sorry.
oh, no, it's just those are the good old days. All that stuff coming out. I mean, we had Y2K in 1999.
Oh
We're
goodness.
we're sitting in the house like waiting for the planes to fall out of the sky. Just oh, what's going on? Oh, nothing happened. But
A lot of people talk about the whole COVID thing, but I mean, Y2K was pretty much that. It's just no
oh
one was
yeah,
sick.
hmm
Y2K was like a worldwide phenomenon because it was like all the technology would just dunks, and there's possibility that something could happen like that, because old technology stuff. But there's still places out there using old technology now, and they're still alive, although they shouldn't. Though they shouldn't.
No.
Um, but I mean, yeah, I was watching other content creators and all that stuff. I've given Raul rants and that, but at the end of the day, it was like there was something missing from what they were doing. Yeah, sure, they're talking about the niche stuff, whether they chose a niche, but it was like you have a lot of content creators who have thousands of followers, tens of thousands, whatever. And the one thing it didn't seem like they were doing was it wasn't they weren't outreaching to their own followers to ask if they could have them on as guest. Right. And there's a risk to go with that. Obviously, I'm not
Hmm.
stupid on that. But it was just like this thing that's a bit ignored where you can reach across a lot of people and they support you all the way. But you imagine if you could take like a quarter of 10,000 people and have those on as guests. That's content for the rest of your life right there. That's simple, almost easy peasy stuff right there, but it's not really a done thing. And again, as I always say, don't listen to me about making content or whatever. I'm just giving you my perspective, because at the end of the day, though, it's just singing is the best snorta. Oh, singing.
Absolutely. There once was a unicorn with magical feet. We love unicorns on our channel with Fortnite and stuff. Snortapoop is just, he's like, no singing, no damn unicorn. So, see,
It
no
only
singing.
it only works if it's a sea shanty and
Yeah.
someone has an actual sword. But we don't have those kind of weapons. But no, I just did this thing because I didn't see it, and of course, again, you have a lot of different little politics and entertainment and all that stuff. I was kind of like whatever, and so I just kind of started reaching out. I mean, after I did what was it, a sort of small time of streaming games or gaming. And then
Mm-hmm.
after that, I sort of kind of struck on the conversational part, because there's power in a conversation
Mm-hmm.
if people are willing to take the step to have it. And that means, you know, being okay that even if and I've had this before, even if you feel like you're going to be, um, anxiety ridden or whatever, the point of the matter is those at least you were willing to take up the what's the word? At least you were willing to take up the opportunity and say, "Hey, I'd like to come on," and all that stuff. And I've had
Mm-hmm.
people who don't even show their face. I've had VTubers on.
Yeah.
I've had current and former military. I've had
Mm-hmm.
people who are like trying to draw water out of a stone. But at the end of the day, the challenges that come with that are
Yeah.
I get to officially say I've had on over 200 guests where other content creators, you know, those who invite guests on would
Mm-hmm.
take well over a year or so, and I did that under a year. Well, I did that within at least a year's time, I think. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was sporadic
Yeah.
at the beginning. Um,
200's a lot. It goes around. I mean, to have that many. See, I, I've had people on and stuff. I've done friends, and I tell you what, I will tell you the one stream that I would love to have, that
mhm,
I would consider retiring and going away,
yeah.
is if I could have Snortapoopus Cuber on for a history discussion.
Ooh.
Yeah, the bear that's everywhere around YouTube.
Mm.
I sorry, I told her earlier that, hey,
I
I'm
can.
if you're laughing, I'm laughing too. But it's like, but yeah, like Snortapoopus, I'm like a fascinating gentleman. I will tell
Mm,
you. I felt like I hit the big time of YouTube when
mm,
he well, that's true. Yeah, I do run down the street naked at half the time. But yeah,
ugh, ugh,
but yeah, I that would be the that just that would be so good to have him to be able to interview and talk history with him. He's a great guy.
yeah.
But see, that's the thing is, I said like make friends and stuff. You know, I got to focus on the people that are here that keep coming in. The new people, we've got some great people,
Mhm,
and that's honestly what gives me the recharge and to do stuff,
mhm,
now. And there's some shows, we can talk more about specific shows. There's some that I do where I just bring in anybody and it focuses on them. But then certain streams I do, I'm like I'm looking at personalities and combinations of people,
mhm.
to get the flow going. And because it's important to balance some personalities. Not everybody clicks together.
Yeah, but I think that's also where because I've done that too with like my Darius Hangout then, but I had to kind of pull back from that. But I also think that when you get people that have nothing in common with each other, there's always something that can come out of that, because it's
Hmm.
not just It's not it is not a vacuum. Basically, life
Mhm.
is not a vacuum. It's just you believe it is because you aren't around millions of people every day in order
Mhm.
to hear that. But yeah, it's sort of like just different experiences of doing the thing, saved by having no microphone or camera. Wow. Well, there you go. Can't be asked on. There you go.
I can drive down and find him.
Uh-oh. Now you heard it. He's gonna do kidnapping.
Yeah.
Um,
No,
but
he's a big old bear. He'll take care of me, but we'll have to get the tranquilizer darts.
oh
I have
goodness.
a saying around that to everybody. Is like when I get rapidly crazy and talking like 900 miles an hour, just shoot me with a low grade beaver tranquilizer.
You just throw a dollar bill on the ground. It's like, wait a second, is that an actual dollar bill? It's like, yeah, that's an actual dollar bill. And then you knock him out.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
It's an actual dollar. I can't believe I can't buy anything with this, but it's a dollar.
I know. It's a dollar. Oh, there's that one clip out of that movie. Whatever. Take your head off, boy. It's just a dollar. Whatever that clip from that movie was. I've seen it. I've seen it used on some channels. It's hilarious. But yeah, and I do agree. I mean, there's things too. We have different people on,
Mhm,
and different get different combinations of people together. That's
mhm,
always good. There's value in doing that. And like I
yeah,
said though, I think it depends on what all your streams are. The intent is, if because I like having people on
yeah,
that are new, that are different, and seeing how they fit in. It just some streams though it depends on how they fall into it. Because what we
mhm,
pride ourselves is on the late night squirrel streams
mhm,
is that we're just all over the place and everything. It does take some. You got to have the right person. You don't want droopy dog. Oh well, or Eeyore's not the good best one for squirreling and jumping around place to place. But
mhm,
the thing is the chat. There's so much that the people in the chat can drive the quality of a stream.
mhm, yeah,
That's what makes most of our best streams is when the chat goes insane.
mhm,
We play a game called Where in the USA where we do a headline and we give you 3 states or 3 countries to pick.
mhm,
We have because of the chat, not just because the people on the panel, which is usually myself and 3 to 4 others at most.
right,
They, I mean, we've gotten distracted. We read the question and it's 45 minutes later before we even give the answer
mhm,
because so much has come up and it's usually the chat.
yeah, just
And that's and so many people can contribute in the chat, and
mhm,
an active chat is a great thing to have to make any stream go better. Because that's why I'm kind of sort of not looking at the chat a little bit because I see some people saying some things up, and I'm trying to not laugh in mid sentence.
mhm,
Oh,
yeah,
like snort
no,
poopers might fall for that dollar bill trap. Oh gosh, snort
I would I would believe that too. Anyone would, almost anyone would. They actually had who was it that did the commercial on it? It was I think it was either State Farm or Nationwide did that commercial where they had the old man with the fishing line and had the dollar bill at the end of it. It's like, oh, you
Mm-hmm.
almost got it.
That's
which
yep.
which
It's
I'm sure someone's out there is trying it right now at this very second.
and it's become a meme too. It's
Mhm.
it's very meaningful. Oh, sorry, I took my wife's saying for her memes in her show.
It's very meaningful. Well, there you go. It's a meme
Yeah.
in itself. But yeah, it's just very it's a very but again, even in this process, it's a very going through the content creator sphere, which is a lot of different platforms and all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
is learning of what is kind of being that observer that's kind of just watching things, right? And you're kind of looking at stuff, and for that regard of looking at that sphere, it's very strange amalgamation. I mean, it's not too strange, obviously, because part of it is driven by monetization, but another part of it is driven by this weird sense of um, what majority of people know as "I'm right, you're wrong," right?
Mm-hmm.
You get those drama tubers, you get this back and forth about information and stuff, and it's just like, guys, you're arguing about stuff that doesn't look. I'm just gonna point this out right now. Sooner or later, people are gonna be 6 feet under or dust in the wind, and you're arguing about something that means nothing 24 hours after that. Hey, Goonie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of like the baseline of where you kind of have to put yourself back to, is like, what is the point of arguing about silly stuff when it is great for conversation, but beyond the scope of it, arguing over the sake of proving a point or proving you're right doesn't really make doesn't really make sense much, because right doesn't save you from being dead.
Right.
It's
Right.
it's the weirdest thing, but it also is just one of those things where it just gets ignored. I'm just sitting here just like, what is all this? Because I can easily go to like Twitter X, and you're already seeing people talk about certain aspects of stuff, and it's just like, does no one know that you keep feeding the beast, you're going to end up being eaten by the beast? I mean, I would think somebody would have said that by now, but what do I know? I'm just over here trying to build my own sandcastle and be happy with it.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, that's been one of the hardest things I've had in the last 2.5 years. I started August 19th of 2022,
mm,
and just being confident in yourself and being happy with yourself
mm,
when the numbers aren't there, when, like I said, people leave, things like that.
mm,
It gets hard,
yeah,
and but at the end of the day, you got to be for the people that are there, you got to give them your best.
mm,
And like one of the things that I say in this, and I mean it, I think people don't believe when I say it.
mm,
I say people before streams.
mm,
Now that's completely heretical to everything YouTube and things like that.
mm,
If Snorpoopus needed me, my wife and I would be in the car, we'd be headed down.
mm,
That's the way we do our life. I spent a lot of time the other night with a dear friend going through it. So that's my call. That's where I am.
mm.
I'm there for my friends. I'm there for the people that really care about me.
Right.
And that's who I am. That's how I am. And um, I've actually canceled streams. I tell people that do not do the stream. If you can't do it, whatever, let's
Mm,
cancel it, because their needs come before a stream any day.
mm,
Because sometimes people are not in a position, they're not mentally to do it. They've had a rough day, things happen, or you know what? Maybe I'm not, you know.
mm.
But I do say though, one thing that I've learned too is that those friends and see what I'm talking about, Daramouthe, or excuse me, Darthmuth. Thank you, Anna. Is that this is an exemplary of my chat. This is why it takes us 45 minutes to get an answer out on a question,
Mm,
because we get derailed by chats. I say I don't even ask the answer. I don't even. I'm sitting here making a serious point, and they got
yeah.
Alaska and all this thrown out. I mean, like trying to read the story, and they're guessing New Zealand. It's like we're in the USA. We're not talking overseas, but they just throw
Yeah.
stuff out. Is this? I love it. See, Mrs. and I have talked about that too.
Uh-huh.
If you know our story, the last 3.5 years, we've dealt with some severe challenges in our families.
Right, right.
And, her thing is to be positive.
Mm,
What we both realize is so many times our chat picks us up
mm,
on a bad day. Them being there, them being that, and I know she has said she's gone into stream really not there,
mm,
but partially in, and she's in it, and the chat's picked her up. The chat's picked me up many times.
mm,
You know, I, I, well, I can talk about some a little bit more later, but
mm,
in the right context. But like I said, the chat is so invaluable in so many ways. Not just, and it's just if they're active, if they're caring with you, they can really help make a quality show. You may have 10 people in your chat,
mm,
but if they're having fun with each other, if they're doing, the right type of thing, that 10-person chat could be better than a 600 or 1,000
mm.
size chat
Yeah,
where
that.
nobody knows each other. Nobody, it's like boom, boom, everything's just cold, hard, mechanical. Go
Mm,
through there. I mean, our chats, I mean, they ask about each other. If somebody
mm,
been in the hospital, they ask how they do. That's why I got into this stuff,
mm,
to make friends. I mean, partially for sports, and we can talk about that too. But to make friends with people.
mm,
I mean, I was, it's, and that's where I've gotten to people before streams, and I
Mhm.
mean it and I live it. And I hope people see that it's real because the worst thing out there is just there's so much fake going on.
Yeah, well, again, monetization has turned to the question of what are you creating for? I mean,
Hmm.
for me, it's sort of why. The two questions I did was what are you going in for? What do you want to get out of it? Because at the end of the day, you wouldn't keep doing this if you were wanting something way off from what you started with, and that's usually another thing too, where you see all the burnout stuff. But beyond that point, it really is just keeping to you what the reason was of why you started this.
Hmm.
Um, Too impersonal and scroll too quickly for me. Well, not only that, but now as time goes on, multi-streaming is going to be the thing because that kind of has to, unfortunately. I think people. Uh, I'm I'm pretty sure if people understand
Hmm.
that the stories of what has happened with YouTube or Twitch or whatever. At the end of the day, being on one platform is not viable in the sense of what is out there now. No, it's not. I'm not saying it's viable because there is a portion of like you have to pay for
Hmm.
certain broadcasting software, but at the end of the day, being on one platform is no longer viable because if you're on one platform and they take you away,
Hmm.
I I don't. For me personally, I don't know what to tell you. I don't feel sorry because I've heard enough stories from just that on YouTube where somebody would get demonetized or somebody would get struck for no apparent reason, or they get their whole channel just disbanded, and they're trying and they're trying. They have to go to a third party to get something resolved that should be resolved on the platform. And
Hmm.
that's the kicker part right there is you have to go to a third party platform to get something resolved on a platform you're trying to get something resolved.
Yeah, that I mean, it's not perfect. Yeah, there are the difficulties, and uh, but like for me, for if you're trying to stay below the radar, it's good. See, like people keep telling me do Rumble or do whatever, and I'm like, look, I only function because of my wife on this stuff,
Yeah.
I, and I'm very robotic, very. Uh, Once I learn something, I don't want to get away from it because
Yeah.
everything's fixed and nice.
Mhm.
And I kind of look, and that's the thing is, see, I will never monetize unless I retire from my real job.
Mhm.
Um, there tax implications and there's other
Yeah.
BS stuff
Mhm.
um, that would be involved, and I don't want to deal with it. I just want to, like I said, have fun.
Mhm.
So if they kick me off for whatever, it's okay, big deal. I just lose a hobby,
Mhm.
But I do understand how when people, it's like when the TikTok came up. I
Mhm.
had friends that really made a lot of money on TikTok. They
Mhm.
made more there than they did on YouTube, and it was a serious threat to them.
Mhm.
Whether you like TikTok or not, it doesn't matter. But to some people, they can make some serious jack on that. Much
Mhm.
better than YouTube, which makes you have like Twitch. You got to get so much before they'll pay you out.
Yeah.
That's why we like Ko-fi. We try to encourage people to use the Mrs. Ko-fi, and I've done it for other streams.
Mhm.
Encourage to use the Ko-fi because the creators can get more of the money and sooner.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, especially that's the hardest part though, the impersonal nature of that platform specifically. If you get banned or you get a problem, you got to get. I mean, it's like everybody goes to Twitter. It's the only way it seems like you can get anybody to answer you,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
and that is a frustration. That's not the way it should be.
Mhm. Yep. And the unfortunate side effect is that it only works well if you have enough people to sway the hammer. But
Hmm.
unfortunately, it's not for everyone. And so that's why it's sort of like you're better off building a safety net rather than just relying on millions of people being able to help you when you need it most. And to be honest, at a certain point, you will be on your own and there will be no one to help you. It's that even happens in real life too, where you've got to figure out how to resolve the issue.
Hmm.
Um, it's not a nice thing to say, but it's a true thing to say. And if you have people to rely on, that's great, good. But there are many who don't, and like you were saying about TikTok, like that goes to show how fragile the systems they've built are. All your
Hmm.
stuff is on one platform. Oh, they're gonna take away that money that you just were making. Oh well.
No, yeah,
I can't feel sorry for you if you aren't willing to go beyond
mhm,
your limits there of one
yeah.
platform. Not you.
Although I think even if people are monetized, I think you got to be careful you don't spread yourself too thin.
Right. Well, yeah,
Because I
you
think sometimes some of the newer platforms they all have their own issues. They have their difficulties,
mm,
and if it's going to stress you out being on six different platforms, you really need to find the one or two that work for you
yeah,
and focus.
yeah, yeah.
Because I've seen people. I mean, I've seen newer creators that just like it's just starting out, and he's like talking about Rumble, and I'm like thinking, just get the YouTube thing going first. Get the habit of the routine and everything like that. You know,
Mm,
to get that settled before you start trying to branch out.
yeah,
See, we did YouTube and Twitch right at the beginning because they
yeah.
StreamYards made it so easy.
Mm,
And that's the thing with Twitch, you can get monetized much easier, quicker than you can on YouTube.
mm-hmm,
The thing is, though, what are you trying to do? My talk doesn't really work on there. Gaming works better on Twitch than
mm-hmm,
it does.
yeah.
My kid, my kid, the honorary polar bear, as Snorpoopus called
Mm,
her. The kid one day came to the mom and was like, "Mom, I needed my social security number." Like, what? Wait, what are you doing? What kind of racket you got? It was like, I'm streaming. What? And we had no clue. And then, what do you stream? You know, because you had all these bad ideas in. Well, the
mm-hmm.
kid's just playing video games with their friends and stuff. The kid is up to 1,600 followers on Twitch. Had over 1,000 at that point. I was like, this is all on their own. And
Mm,
it was just crazy to see. I was like, wow. That's my key because of being an auditor. When I hear
mm.
anybody giving up a social security number, it's it's like, what? It gets serious. My
Well, yeah.
wife won a TV in Las Vegas once,
Mm,
you know, and I thought my mother-in-law had won it. It's a hilarious story.
mm-hmm,
But when my wife finally said no, I gave them my social security number. I'm like, what? We got a
yeah.
big TV? So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You gotta be careful of those scammers and spammers too. But Alaska
yeah.
Man Jeff says, and if you betray or don't blindly bend over for a creator's influence by money only, you will be cast aside in a second. People over money, fame, or you lose more than you realize. Well, yeah, duh. That's it. Again, if there are people who want to make a business out of this, which is fine. Again,
Mhm.
do what you will. But what's the cost? Because they're trying to get away from the office thing, right? So here's the funny
Mhm.
thing too, right? Some people turn into content creators because they want to get from away from the 9 to 5. Well, guess what happens when they make it a full-time job? It
Right.
just becomes another job, right? What then was the point of trying to get away from the 9 to 5 when you've created another 9 to 5 just in a different way? And if you're not
Yeah.
enjoying it, then
Yeah.
it just makes it worse.
Well, it's like every other thing. You have business ethics. You know, it's one of the things in business school and university.
Mm,
It's like, you know, I always have the courses on ethics.
yeah.
You know, what's right, what's wrong, and things like that. And it again, it depends on the person and what they view. I
Mm,
believe you can actually have the proper balance of money and people. Though you don't have to use and abuse and run over everybody to make a few bucks on this thing.
mm,
You know, but I've also seen people that were helping. We helped get to over 500 that helped us. You know, it was kind of like, but then it's now that they're over 500, it's like,
yeah.
it's like they've gone elsewhere. So,
Yeah, again. I've talking about having people on. I've had people just very few block me for no apparent reason, and there's no indication in any conversation I've had with
hmm
them where they just do that or they stop speaking to you or whatever. And it's sort of this thing where you are right in a sense saying earlier, you kind of do end up in a situation where people do leave, and that's the sad fact of it. But because of what I get to do and the opportunity it brings, I have millions upon millions of opportunity. Like, not well, everyone can have it, but like none other. And yet, if people want to leave because of something I said or someone they talk to they don't disagree with, and they don't aren't going to say anything or whatever, then that's on them. I I do this thing because it clicked. There
Hmm.
was a point in time where you're kind of searching around. I was searching around because I didn't know what else I wanted to do with my life. And then I come to this thing and it clicks and I'm like, why would I want to do anything else? I'd rather be doing this, but it doesn't pay the bills. Um that's the unfortunate truth. But the problem of it becomes is it's just it's the frustrating it's the frustrating amalgamation of what content creators are. Content creators saying this is what you need to be
Hmm.
seen more, view more, whatever. I was like, okay, that's great, I guess, but I don't really care because what I do feels more important than what it is to get more views. I wouldn't mind that. I'm not gonna
Hmm.
dissent that. But what I feel I do with the conversational aspect is more important because nowadays, when you go to a restaurant or whatever, you see more people on their phone, or it's
I'm sorry, I'm laughing about that because I have a story for that. If when you want to hear it.
oh no, yeah, and it's just people don't understand having a conversation with someone feels like a lost art. It basically
Absolutely,
does.
absolutely. One of the things that I've learned here, oh my God, I'm so tired of hearing about the introvert extrovert debate. It's
Uh-oh.
like it's like I why the hell can you not just talk to somebody?
Mhm.
I mean, my wife told me about with our oldest kid. Oh well, I can see it. Some people
Mhm.
get drained,
Yeah.
and I get it. I can get that. But my kid would also talk to people. But some people will avoid every conversation in
Mhm.
the world, and they will talk. One of the biggest problems I've had with people on X and YouTube, my friends that will not pick up, get on StreamYard and let's talk something out.
Mhm.
It all has to be DM, DM, DM. And I'm like, you're not getting my message. You're not getting the tone. It
Mhm.
is a lost art
Mhm.
because I'm an auditor. One of the
Right.
things we deal with right now, these young people
Mhm.
that come out, they want to do everything via text and email. You send somebody an email with wanting 10 things, they're not going to understand what the hell you really, really want. They're going to give you what you get. And people, well, they didn't give you more than what. Well, you never took the time to talk to them, what you're trying to do, what your objectives are.
Mhm.
There's a misunderstanding, a miscommunication from the very beginning. And
Mhm.
when that happens, everything jumps off the track. You
Yeah.
wasted their time, you wasted your time, get
Mhm.
some people pissed off. I actually also had a friend, thank God, a few weeks ago. Something happened. We talked 3 o'clock in the morning, my time. I didn't fucking care. Excuse me. Sorry.
You're
I'm
fine.
sorry. But I did not care
Mhm.
because, like I said, people before streams.
Mhm.
And that's how I carry myself because I see all this stuff out there. But to your point about the conversation is a lost art.
Mhm.
When they want to hide in anonymity and yet say you're friends, but if you have, it doesn't even have to be a conflict. It's
Mhm.
just making sure y'all are on the same page for something coming up.
Yeah.
Talk to them. There's
Mhm.
nuances in language. There's nothing worse than the written English language
Mhm.
because it tone. Oh my God! One time at work,
Mhm.
guy had to come to me. Dad, man, some of the ladies say because we review each other's work.
Oh.
So I'm leaving points like you need to fix this, correct this. This doesn't work.
Mhm.
He came to me and said, "Well, a couple of the ladies think you have a tone."
Mhm.
What? I just how do you I so I started saying please before every friggin' sentence. Please
Yeah.
do this. Please do that. Yeah, how ridiculous it sounds. Because it is so easy to take offense in the and I will say I do too. I will
Mhm.
do because when I see something there, I kind of sometimes I get my feelings hurt a little bit, but I understand later. I try to back off on that because it's written language. When
Mhm.
you talk to somebody, you can build a better relationship. You will know when they say something to not react in certain ways. The more you
Mhm.
get to talk to somebody, build up the relationship, you know how they talk, you know how they communicate.
Mhm.
You can avoid a lot of that stuff. But so many people, like I said, with work and other things, they like, well, you didn't understand what I said. Well, you didn't tell me. I
Mhm.
read what you said, and I gave you what I thought you asked for.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I've had people, I said, let's talk about this. Let's talk, refuse to communicate. And especially in this type of media, if you're going to be a streamer,
Mhm.
you better talk to people and communicate things.
Mhm.
I mean, I'll sit here. We can sit here and have a knockdown, drag out, yell at each other if we had to, but
Yeah.
at least we're working on a problem, you
Yeah.
know. And then hell, sometimes we realize we're both wrong, and dang it, why did we waste our time, you know?
Yeah.
But I love your point about that being a lost start because it
Mm,
really is.
yeah. And then again, I've had people who it was like trying to draw water from stone, but I see that as more of a challenge rather than just like, oh, that bad or whatever. Because at the end of the day, if you don't challenge yourself on how to get, because when someone asked me like, what did I, what's kind of sort of like the basis of my show, of course I'd say like free flowing, but then I will say, well, it's sort of based off like the Craig Ferguson show and Whose Line Is Anyways, because of that improvisation right there, because you could, if you've ever watched a Craig Ferguson show, he would have, and it was mostly celebrities, so I understand that point, but he could have just about anyone on, and they'd be there for a movie, TV show, whatever, and majority of the time they wouldn't even get to that, and that was sort of like, well, why can't we just have that, as is now, because
Mm-hmm.
everyone has the same opportunity to some degree to start a conversation with someone. And sure, yeah, you may have someone who's not really wanting to have a conversation, and so you kind of organically find out, okay, when does the conversation, because that's another thing too, right? You may be talking about tones, but there's also that sort of hidden sense, if you will, like, when a conversation organically as it is starting to end, and you're going to have to go to something else after that. You get that natural feeling of this conversation is about to end, so you need to go on to something else. And therefore, or how to handle, like a few weeks ago, I had to handle on screen, somebody who wanted to bring up um, past issues with someone else that had nothing to do with what they were on screen for. I was doing one of my shows, Rumble Squared, which is sort of like trying to find issues, wish list stuff that people of users or creators on Rumble, or new people, whatever, on Rumble. But they were bringing up a past thing that had nothing to do with whatever they were brought on the show, and so you
Mm-hmm.
kind of learn how to, you know, in the best way possible, not like, yeah, I've come here to tell you it's over. Go away. No, you don't get Hitlerish. No, what you do is you try to be the adult in the room and say, okay,
Yeah.
I'm done. You're done. That's it. No more. And all that sort of stuff. And so I had to get that. But once you go through that fire, you
Mm-hmm.
know how to better handle yourself for the next time. Again, with people who are hard to get something out, right? A conversation is sort of like digging through the soil for that small gold nugget. Once you find it, you can just run that through until whenever, and then go search for the other gold nugget. But some people are very a hard case to degrade, and so you just kind of keep going and going. But the better you get that, the better it gets for the next person and the next person, and the next person. It's about building yourself in the process of
Mm-hmm.
building others, right? Because that's basically what a conversation is. Not just about trying to find information. It's about how you interact with each other on a ground floor level. Isn't that odd that conversations are ground floor level, but you can have them with almost anyone, anywhere, on any level? It's fascinating how that works.
Oh yeah. It's amazing what people. I always say people find a way to do what they want to do. They'll find a way to talk to the people that they want to talk to,
Hmm.
but not others.
Hmm.
They'll find a way to be in certain places, but not others.
Yeah.
It's just, it's very, very, it's a challenge. And especially if you put yourself out there
Mm.
to people, become a little more vulnerable, and then, they're with you for a while, then they move on.
Mm.
It gets hard, especially when you think your communication's going. And you got to pay attention to that communication because
Yeah.
you can tell when things are happening. When
Hmm.
somebody talks your ear off,
Yeah.
then they start going quiet, something's wrong, something's up.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's that has been probably the hardest issue I've had to deal with lately especially in the last year after my mom's surgery. Well, my mom had surgery last February,
Okay.
and she's now in a wheelchair.
Oh.
She's 24/7 at my sister's. There's
Mm.
there's stress. There's all this
Mm.
stuff. I lived in my house in my old childhood home for 8 months last year to protect it, so it
Mm.
wouldn't be abandoned. So that put stress on us here.
Mhm.
All that stuff. And then as I noticed people just leaving, it was like, I'm sorry I can't stream like I did before. I can't,
Mm,
sorry, whatever. And then people that would talk to me before quit talking,
mm.
and it's the hardest thing to fight through.
Yeah.
And, and you just, but I will say the best thing has happened. I've got two great people that have just come in recently, and I'd go to the Mat Forum, and they've really helped. And the people that have been there the whole time that are here, like my wife said one time, like you're going to quit or whatever. What about this person or that person in
Mm-hmm.
the chat? I mean, like, what about them? Don't they matter? And I'm like, that's unique. That was interesting. Now, if my wife had just texted that to me,
Mm-hmm.
where would the effect have been? But when she actually voiced it,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, dude, get over, she's right. And I do believe there is power in hearing the words spoken,
Mm-hmm.
because I've had to go back and take somebody's text or
Mm-hmm.
written message. When I read it out loud, it sounds different.
Yep. Yep.
It has more impact. It's more powerful. I've done that in the last week or two, because sometimes I have to read quickly, and that's another problem. You start reading stuff, you're so busy, and then you read. You're in a hurry. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to miss what somebody says. I do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But hearing somebody says something, there's always something that likely could hit your ear that you pick up on.
Mm-hmm.
And and it's like you said, it's a dying art, because like the whole platform, whatever platform you pick, whichever, Rumble, whatever, whichever,
Yeah.
YouTube, it's just it's just noise and yelling and screaming, which I can't deal with anymore. I
Yeah.
mean, one being at work,
Mm-hmm.
because I have to watch what I watch, and I
Yeah.
have trouble wearing earphones and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
but but even then, I have found myself to the point where I don't want to hear this crap anymore. I got enough stress in my life. I got enough pressure at work. I got enough other negative stuff. I don't want to hear yelling, even if I agree that Star Wars is dead. It's like that. My kid is one of the best streamers around on Twitch.
Uh-huh.
The joy, because I'm bragging on you, Ang. That's why. So another advantage of the small house. But I'm like, I mean, the kid's masked such a big, but just kindness, knows how to engage a chat. If somebody comes in with a problem, there's compassion,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I like. Like I said, that's why I've decided my channel motto is people before streams,
Mm-hmm.
because that is where life is.
Mm-hmm.
I think you said it earlier. We only have so much time.
Mm-hmm.
When people are dead and gone, they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the friggin' point? You might have won the argument about Darth Maul. Darth Maul is a fun thing with me, but but the whole thing with KK being fired and all, those type of things.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, fine, but when you look back at your life,
Mm-hmm.
was that worth all the time you spent in it, or was
Mm-hmm.
it worth investing in people that need you out there, people
Right.
that you could truly connect with and be friends?
Mm-hmm. Connecting with uh people, well, again, because I've talked to people all over. At least you could speak English.
Yeah.
If you don't speak English, my language learning is not so good.
What?
But
I thought you spoke very good German. Fine.
that's only when it's Hogan's Heroes. But
Uh,
no, but
I had to do it. We were this is what streaming is about. We're an hour in.
uh,
We're an hour in, and it's like, I mean, it's really cool.
mhm,
It's not work. It's not, it's been cool.
mhm.
So it just really, really is neat. And to me, this is what streaming's about.
Speak English. Hey, sprechen Sie Deutsch, young lady. Sprechen Sie Deutsch. Okay, you want to keep it up? We're gonna.
Parlez-vous français? Oui, oui, mademoiselle. Comment allez-vous?
Yeah. Well, again, sometimes the real damage doesn't even set in until it's too late, and then people like whatever. Because
Mm-hmm.
you can have people like who are called Dark Side Phil, who can, you
Mm-hmm.
know, keep going even when he's been laughed at so many times. And like, yeah, you keep him alive because you keep talking about him.
Yeah.
Um, but uh, but yeah, it's just there is so I've always been like this, there's so much opportunity around us all in the essence of, it's good or bad or whatever. But the
Mm-hmm.
but the point of the matter is that people have the ability to, even though it's tough at times, there's opportunity around us all. And this thing right here with, using this tool, which is the internet and all,
Hmm.
Rumble Studio and all that stuff, there's a good with using that tool and a bad as well. I mean, all tools have their goods and bads
Hmm.
depending on the individual. But at
Hmm.
the end of the day, the point of the matter is I get to use this thing. I can connect to people from
Hmm.
Australia, the
Yeah.
UK. I've talked to people from Norway, Slovenia. I've talked to people all Alaska Man Jeff. I've had Alaska Man Jeff on. I've had Anna on. I've had so many others on. The point of the matter is, though, is that this tool allows me to connect. Obviously there are time zone differences, so I have to plan for that. But that's a different story in itself. Um, but the point of the matter is I can use this tool to connect people along the way, and it's fascinating how you may see on the TV or web or whatever of how things are so separate. It's not really that far off, though.
Hmm. No.
Do you even?
Well, I tell you one thing that I remember is being a cheap old fart. Uh, Before the internet, I remember before the internet. You're so young, Sonny, but
Mm,
uh, it's like phone calls, international phone calls would bankrupt you.
oh yeah,
It's like
yep.
so. It's like but this has been a great medium because like you said, I've been on with Jeff. We've done 2 streams about Alaska. I loved about the Aleutian Islands and stuff.
Mm,
Watching him talk about crossing the Russia. Then when and like Anna has been on our streams lately, and uh, I had an Australian friend that we would do the late night squirrel streams, just him and me. We go live at 2 o'clock in the morning my time.
mm,
He's like, "You want to go stream?" I'm like, "Sure, yeah." He's like, "Well, you want to sleep?" I'm like, "Nope, I'll get up because get up, do it 5 o'clock in the morning, get 2 hours of sleep, and keep moving on." And honestly, I'll be honest, that connection to people, especially international, I can function for a while with limited sleep because it when I'm on and streaming and doing a lot and I'm up
mm,
late, I truly am better. I'm better mentally for one thing.
mm,
And that's what's so cool with connecting these people, the diversity of people that it's not just a bunch of accountants talking about GASB 34 and accumulated depreciation and
mm,
stuff like that. It's actually uh, fun.
mm.
I tell you, that's what, yeah, I do, Jeff. But of course, you West Coast. Well, you're beyond West Coast. You're way out in the other independent time zone out there.
Yeah.
But that has been one of the greatest things is meeting new people. I've had a friend who recently too. I'm listening to music again. You know, I've always been an '80s guy, but still, I'm actually enjoying music from other cultures,
Wow.
which that Cold War me is like, it's interesting, and that's the power of the internet.
Mm,
Like you said, having those conversations,
mm.
breaking down walls, having actually people be people together.
Yeah.
You
Every
know,
people look and say, well, they're the towers where a lot of high people are, but it's like everything, pretty much everything happens on the ground floor.
hmm
You can go up to the penthouse, but pretty much everything's on the ground floor and the dirt and grime and everything else. And people kind of miss that point, and that's where I like to start from. But anyway, it is the top of the hour, and what I do is I set aside some time for us to self promote, as it were.
okay.
So I did put out where hold on, I gotta get up there. I did put all the links I could find to yourself, to Twitch, to YouTube, and all that.
hmm
But if you
Hey,
want to,
Mrs. Sorry,
there she
my
is. I
wife's
see her.
here now. Yay!
Yeah. That means we'll be able to do the English speaking later, but we'll do that after.
But that's okay because I got to speak French with her now. Oui, oui, mademoiselle.
Oh, you're gonna do Pepe Le Pew.
Well,
Um,
Anna challenged us to our face on X, so we got
yeah.
to do
Well,
that. And of course, my wife has actually threatened to ban me from the house before if I kept. Actually, she threatened to walk off a stream before if I kept speaking in a foreign language.
we'll do that after, so we can give her some time to prepare.
Well, she won't
Anyway.
let me dance either. So, but
Oh, that's that. No, that's you got to let a man dance once in a while. But yeah, but so
I
your
got a
link.
story for that. I'm a typical dad man. All
Oh goodness.
right, sorry.
But yes, your links down below. But if you want to promote yourself in your own way, the floor is yours, good sir.
Oh well, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm DadManWalking 55. I'm on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube at that link. Uh, I I pretty much do 3 standard shows. A lot of what I do is random.
Mhm.
Some random Fortnite plays with my wife and with some friends. Sometimes I go chill chat, which is I just do something live, playing a game or talking late at night or whatever. Uh, I have 3 basic core shows right now because life is like I said in the last years challenged uh, a lot of things. But
Mhm.
Monday night I do duos with Jess, a good friend of ours that loves Fortnite. Would do that. Um, of course, Wednesday and Friday nights at 10 p.m. I have the late night with Dadman, which we call from fruitcakes to porta potties.
Mhm.
There's a story behind both of those. We actually, in
Oh.
2 different streams, spent an hour and a half on fruitcakes and an hour and a half on porta potties. So
Mhm.
the name stuck. And last week I had a porta potty laying out in front of my house when they were
Oh.
doing construction work. So those are the big things that we have, and we call them squirrel streams because there's really no format.
Mhm.
We like use the force jump tree to tree, nut to nut, and we just kind of, are just people coming together, having fun. Lately, we've been into grok, having a
Ooh.
lot of fun with grok.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that's gonna be a fun time.
yeah, it's just oh my gosh, the crazy stuff, and I got something coming up Friday on our show Friday that Anna created. So
Mhm.
uh, hopefully everybody's there for that. And that's really a lot that I have. I do want to get back to doing more. This Thursday I do have the eclectic goat on
Oh, nice.
7 o'clock. Actually, she's got 2 streams. She's got this Thursday and then the following Thursday because we have so much to talk about. One show was not enough. And of
Mhm.
course, at the end of the month, on last Thursday, I've got Anna coming on. Anna's Gameland again to um, come on. I tell you, and she's been a valuable addition to our Wednesday night crew
Mhm.
for our late night stream. It's her and my wife get along so well,
Mhm.
and I don't care if I get picked on a lot. That's fine
Mhm.
because I just it's wonderful. So that for me is what I do. When we get to the fall, I'll try to get back into more college football. I do some sports, but
Mhm.
like I said, it's kind of been the victim of a lot of having to be in different places when real life calls.
Snorty the snotty.
So
I You gotta blow your nose once in a while.
yeah,
No, yeah,
exactly.
that's
But that's about it. I mean, I don't. I mean, that's the main thing I have. I mean,
mm,
if you want to know more about me, I can tell you about how we got originated, how I got the name, and stuff like that. But in
mhm.
terms of actual content, that's
Yeah.
what we have going on.
Yeah, usually trying to explain to people unscripted, free-flowing conversation is kind of hard because they don't know because they're used to the scripted format where you bring on talking about topic. But I'm like, it sounds scary, but can you imagine how much freedom you have when you're not constricted by a topic? And that kind of hits up against me too when I'm invited on another stream because I other people, those people whose streams have been on, they want to talk about certain things. I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
sure, that's fine. I can deal with that. But for me, it's like you're basically putting an ostrich or whatever animal into a cage and saying, okay, this is where you're gonna be for the time being, and this is what we're gonna talk about, and then that's that. I mean, they're yes,
Hmm.
you can go on off tangents, but it's like I want to start at ground zero and just flood the floor and see where it goes. There is no reason why I can't do that, and that's why I do what I do. I just call it free flowing, but you found your thing with that, and that's great too.
Hmm.
Hey JT, how are you?
Hey, JT Kirk, good to see you. Hey, yeah. But you know what? That's a skill. Listen, I tell you what. I'm an auditor. When I
Mm,
started 3 years ago, when I started running audits, we have what we call the entrance conferences, and our boss is like, you
mm,
don't have to be so robotic, you just, and so I've had to learn how to yeah, exactly. It's like I've actually learned how to, with work,
mm,
improvise and stuff like that, and
mm.
learned how to not go so scripted because sometimes people ask you questions. You have to be prepared to do it
Yeah,
and stuff like that. Because I grew up, I was always, read this black and white, read this, read that.
yeah,
Although we do some of it now, but actually, like you said, it's liberating, it's freeing.
yeah.
Not
Especially,
having a script, because I'll tell you, if I stay with a fully, I can't now because my wife's got her own stream doing so much other stuff
mm,
because she was doing so much for me. If last fall I was going to walk away
mm,
with everything going on,
mm.
I've said that on my channel. I've said it to people.
Mm-hmm.
That's how bad I just was.
Mm-hmm. That's again.
And,
That's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
and no, no, you're good. You're good. And I still would like some structured stuff, but right now I'm not there.
Mm-hmm.
But just the going, and I know it's not good for the algorithm, going random, whatever other stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
don't care. I'm out to have fun, and
Mm-hmm.
it's been liberating. It's better for my mental health
Mm-hmm.
and for the fun. And people actually have wanted to be on and come on, which is wonderful. To it's helped. It's really
Mm-hmm.
helped
Mm-hmm.
uh, that people actually want to be a part of things like that.
Yeah.
Um, and so just I say that because I'm so thankful to so many. They're in the chat tonight. JT Kirk is a great guy. He's been my right hand man with sports.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, we've had so much going on. We've not been able to get that going.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, my wife has been a saint for keeping me going and going through this and not quitting and also doing a lot of the graphics and a lot of the work for the channel.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, actually, she's twice kept me on the air when my
Ooh.
computer froze up. One time, I had Culture Casino and two other people, and they were talking sports, or we were talking something related to sports, and it's like my computer froze up, so I had to run to her computer. She had to get into StreamYard, and she kept them. They were all talking when I could finally jump in on her computer. The worst was one time when I was playing Axis and Allies, and the computer locked up, and she had to download the game on her computer
Mm-hmm.
before I could stream with who I was playing with.
Mm-hmm.
But we had like 10 or 15, 10 people in the chat. They all stayed. They were all chatting. My
Mm-hmm.
guess, it was, so I would be nowhere without my wife
Mm-hmm.
in life or with this stuff.
Same.
Because, and like I've said, other people have come in. I got Daisy Blossom, who's just such a great lady that with the movies. And that's another stream that we sort of do. We've had to kind of hiatus a little bit because of
Mm-hmm.
life for both of us.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, Wes Cagle is a great shout out.
Mm-hmm.
My squirrel streams, I needed a right hand man. I needed
Mm-hmm.
somebody, and he came in. He's there Wednesdays and Friday nights.
Mm-hmm.
I was like there, and then of course the missus jumps on me with me, and of course I've added the two rock stars over from Europe, Clifton and Anna, and between Wednesday and Thursday night, Friday night, and I'm happy, and because the other day I still fight things at times, and
Yeah.
I had something. I'm like, God, I just want to go away again. But I'm like, well, if I pull all these down, I'm like, no, I like those three streams that I'm doing, the three that I do core.
Mm-hmm.
I love my time playing with Jess. It's so much fun. She's
Mm-hmm.
like, Dad, man, you're left. No, your other left. And it's like, and then with just Wednesdays and Fridays, I just love those streams.
Mm-hmm.
I love the time with the friends that are there. It means, like I said, people before streams, and it's helped me deal with a lot, and that's where my focus with streaming is it's just to survive these days. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Jess is the best. Yeah, she's great. But I know that I'm going long-winded rant about that, but that's really the heart of our show, our channel
Mm-hmm.
and stuff, my channel and stuff.
Yeah.
And I do hope I can get back into more stuff. But like tonight, this is a blast. I'm having fun. We're over an hour. Does
Mm-hmm.
not feel like it.
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying the time.
Yeah.
That's why half the time, and I think with great streams, I look up sometimes it's 3 hours gone and we're still going.
Yeah, I try to keep a handle on it because I do have to get up in the morning, so I do have to, and
Yeah.
then I have to set
We-
up. Then I have to set up for the stream tomorrow. It's like,
I know.
but that is not now. My OC is starting to kick in again. There, I want you to no, you stay over there. You stay over there,
Yes,
young lady.
she warned me about the post-it notes. Yeah.
Mhm. Well, I'll tell you about it later. But anyway, to get back to
Yeah.
to my end of things, whether you're on the Rumble side or whether you're on the YouTube side, if you wouldn't mind, it doesn't really matter. But if you wouldn't mind leaving a like, sharing the content, leaving a comment or follow, anything that will help, anything that helps with the engagement factor is much appreciated because not only does it help in being seen more, like all content creators want to, it also helps in having other people on, like DadMan, like Alaska Man Jeff, like Anna, like Clifton, like Tommy, and like so many others. I can hear myself over there, or No way, I can hear something else over there. I thought that was me for a second. I was like, am I
No, it's my
echoing?
wife. I think it's my wife down the hallway playing something.
I was like, am I echoing? What's
No, you're not. Sorry.
it's fine. I was just like, why do I hear myself? But it's fine. But anyway, any any hope with the engagement on either end
What's
is that
ironic about it is that she's always telling me my voice is too loud when she's streaming. I'm like, you're making it up. Well, I can't deny that again.
yeah. No, but again, any help with engagement on either end, because I do stream to both Rumble and YouTube, and for right now, that'll be the case. I'm not a one place show. But anyway, any help with engagement factor on either end is much appreciated. Of course, there's a link down below. Hold on, I gotta remove that. Thank you, Neuro, for not that one. Thank you, Neuro, for that. At the if you go to that link, you'll find one of my Twitter X, my email. I also have a link to like Discord, but it's mostly just for DMing because I can only do so much. I only have so much mental bandwidth, so I only handle with what I can. But anyway, any help with the engagement factor and link down below. And of course, Neuro has been bringing up, uh, a while back, I started this thing called Rumble Squared, which is sort of my put post. Thank you, Nora. I appreciate that. I've been doing this thing where I've been doing surveys each month on Rumble, issues and wish list stuff people have for it, and of course, I did one for that as a viewer one. Links are down in if you are a user or viewer of Rumble. Links are for the creator one and the viewer one. Again, these are going for 2 weeks. They will be that'll be done on the 27th, so plenty of time. But again, it's just collecting people's issues and stuff like that on Rumble, and just trying to find out what people are saying. It's okay. We understand, Miss Walkman. It's all right. But yeah, and also one last thing before I go. Well, Neuro, if you can put it up. But there is a actually, hold on, I get my yeah, open up Notepad. Goodness sake. There is a while back. Um, I don't know if. Have a good one, Snorta. Have a good one. Um, a while back there was a post. I don't know if anyone knows what Proton is, but there was a company. There's a company called Proton. A while back, they had made a post on their on Twitter X about how they were offering entrance into their partner program, and of course, I use. Oh, thank you for that, Neuro. Of course, I use Proton, many of their products, but one I'm just focused on is Proton Mail. So I sent in all my stuff, and they eventually said yes because I'd done it over a weekend, and Monday came around, and they're like, sure, why not? And so I'm like, are you sure about that? so so yeah, I don't know how to sell. I'm not a marketer. I just tell people because I'm sort of like doing like the Billy Mays method, right? I wouldn't promote a product I didn't use. So if you've never heard of Proton, would be a good thing to kind of look at it. And again, the link is either down in the description down below. Actually, I'll do that for the YouTube site as well. But what it is that Proton Mail, one of their services that they have is it's a mailing thing where they do a few things with it. One is that with Proton Mail, you can use a email alias, which is sort of like saying, hey, you don't want people to know what your actual email is, da 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 da. Well, guess what? We'll make an alias email for you that will work for you and will redirect anything back to your actual email and can do that. And so that's been a great one. Another one is that they do very well hit upon the scammers and spammers. Like I'm sure many of you, if you have a YouTube channel, you have Gmail, and you'll see a lot of spam mail in your Gmail, which is not fun. But at the end of the day, though, they do kind of have it again. Proton is about privacy and security. They're stationed in Switzerland. It's very strict privacy laws there, and while they offer other things, I'm just focusing on the Proton Mail because of what they offer. So you can go to that link. You can check out what they have. They have a free email account, something you can set up for. They have a 30-day free thing. If you want to try it out, there you go. Don't have to spend any money for it. But at the end of the day, you're just trying out this thing. There's a money thing involved, but I'm not a very good marketer or a seller, so I doubt I'll make a penny off it. But at the end of the day, it's about promoting a product I use that I feel would be best for a lot of people because again, people are concerned about their privacy and security and they don't want, to be bombarded with spam mail every time. And even if you get a mail, they'll tell you if it's phishing or something like that. They will give you a warning saying it's this thing. So again, link in the link right there, both on mobile and YouTube in the description. Give it a look. If not, no biggie, right? Just me to try. I don't know if they'll keep me in or not. I don't know if I have to make a certain amount, but I still gotta try. Because they let me in, and I'm like, okay, here we go. So I'm like, all right, well, this one's not gonna work. But yeah, that the surveys, all that stuff. Again, I'm doing a lot of things, and again, like I was saying, my Rumble Squared I do like once a month at the end of the month, and it's just trying to give people who use the platform and all this stuff on a creator or viewer level visual data because Rumble really doesn't do that. A lot of platforms don't really do that, but just specifically on Rumble. So it's certainly a skill to learn, but it is a living survey. So there's that. But yeah, all sorts of fun stuff right there. So yeah, I know some people use Proton like Neuro uses now, but I can only speak on my I can only speak on my experience, and trying to sell that is not a fun time. It's not going to work
Experience
out
may
well.
vary.
Experience.
Yes.
Should have put an asterisk right there.
Yeah.
Experience may vary.
Or you could say mileage may vary and make it really
Oh,
transportation.
that's a little different. You're saying mileage may vary. That's speaking to a whole nother crowd right there. All right. That's speaking to a whole nother crowd right there.
Yeah.
The treads on that lady did not go far. But anyway, and no, I saw that for Mrs. Dadman. It's okay. I just thought it was me speaking for a second. I was like, is that me? I'm
Well,
hearing
again, it's just, she's going to have a nice life lesson for me tonight because she's always telling me you're too damn loud. She can hear me when I'm just talking to somebody on StreamYard or talking on the phone. She's like, it's coming through. We can hear you. I'm like, you don't hear the details. You just hear noise. And it's like, so tonight I get it. I learned the lesson out here because it's like she's in the fishbowl. She's out in the living room. And so it carries, sound carries.
It's an irrevocable disaster. It's really just sordid and disastrous and bombastic and all the things, the words we can do. I really find prescribing a word to a noise is sort of disrupting because I'd rather just have the noise and go from there. You sing loud, so I feel for oh, wow. That's
Hello, old chap, Edward. How are you tonight? Golly, good day to you, sir. Top of the morning.
Hi, y'all. Well, no, it's a funny thing too is when people try to do an accent, they usually go with for an Irish one.
Oh yeah.
They try to
Don't mess with me, Lucky Charms.
Yeah. How much did y'all hear? Hey, you know what? I heard enough. That's the important part.
Yeah, we heard yelling. That was funny. But yeah. Oh yeah. My wife hates it when I try to do the accents. It's like crazy. So it's I took 4 years of Spanish. I'm okay marginally with it, but I actually had people before threatening to leave the street. People that I knew at the time, they were laughing with it because their kids were asleep and they were laughing so hard that they were about to wake their kids up. They were threatening me if they woke their kids up, they'd take it out on me.
You could I mean, again, I do more of a emulation rather than an imitation because that's what usually most people do, like they emulate
What's the difference though? What's the difference between emulation and imitation?
Imitation is on a person. Emulation is how how it sounds. So
Mm.
you can take from one section of one part of the country to another. We're having a blast. There you go. We're having a blast. But it's sort of like because I mean there are different sections of the United States where it's like there's a southern drawl right there where you just
Yep.
go straight for that cattle and you accidentally hit it and it's a good steak. So that's right there. Or you can go to like Baton Rouge, right? You go down there and that gumbo is so good, and you just on that slow drawl right there, and you
Got
just
that Cajun in it.
got a little spice. Every time I talk to my missus, she's I'm a little spicy, and I say, "Oh, wait till later." But anyway, you,
Oh.
you get stuff like that, and then you have like Chicago. You know, you get the so in any country, there's sort of like there are different areas where Yorkshire,
Mhm.
Blackpool, and Liverpool. You have these different areas that have different sounding accents, but emulating is trying to listen to as many as you can because on YouTube there is a channel called the Try Channel.
Mhm.
What it is a bunch of Irish people. They try different foods, drinks, mostly just out. There are more alcohol shows, but still. So they try different foods and stuff that some people send them in, and so it's sort of like listening. You're listening to how to say the word car. You know, how Americans we say the word car, but
Mhm.
Irish will say car, or I think Canadians say car too, but it's not like a hard
Yeah.
R. It's like a light R,
Yeah.
like car, and all that stuff. So you're listening to how they're saying words rather than imitating, like say
Mhm.
Robert Downey Jr. and how he says things, and only doing Robert Downey Jr. But with emulation, it's more of like I can do this whole section right here, and maybe a little of the one beyond that, but that's a little too much. Yorkshire, not. You know what? I don't need no correction in my chat, young lady. All right, you can keep it up like that.
Oh, I did have my Australian friend tell me once it's Canberra, not Canberra.
Canberra,
All these years, because World War II studied Canberra as Canberra. So I say
Canberra.
like Melbourne, and I'm like Melbourne.
Mm.
He'd growl at me because we got a Melbourne, Florida.
Oh,
But yeah, exactly. What I loved to torture him with was when I called Men at Work's Down Under the Australian national anthem.
Mhm.
So like, oh
Vehicle. Well, yeah, because
yes,
he's an American. That's
vehicle. Yeah, it's a vehicle and it's a theater. You
uh,
know,
I just say vehicle.
it's
'Cause it's,
vehicle and theater. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah. You're
but I will
you're.
say, hey, I got one for JT since it's there. But Captain, I'm giving it all she's got.
Oh, come on, you could do better than that. Come on,
But Captain, I'm giving it all she's got.
Captain, I can't drive her any further. She's too hard. It's too hard for her. The energy's going low. Captain,
Uh,
every time you ask me to give more energy, she's all worn out. I can't do
Hey, hello, computer.
every time that's said, I feel like it's not talking about the ship itself. It's talking about something else.
I oh well, you talk about dancing. I got a story about dancing for you once. You know,
Right.
she will not. I mean, you go somewhere, clap, clap, and they're like, no, she won't let me. I get held down. It's like, well, Disney Magic Kingdom in Orlando has had this thing, Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor for a number of years,
Mhm.
and one of the things is somebody buys churros, somebody does this, all this. They focus on the camera. Well, they always get to the one that gets up, feels the urge to get up and dance. Well,
Mhm.
you know how people are. They just sit there. Maybe you get somebody move their arms, or maybe one time somebody a little bit. They hit me, and probably the last time we ever went before 2020. Oh my God! When they hit me, I was up immediately. I was what do you call it? Water gating or the spigot gating. The sprinkler, the spring. I was doing everything. I was moving everything in every different direction, and it was like it was so much fun. But it was so good. They
Mhm.
actually came back for me for an encore, which we'd never seen before
Mhm.
during the show. Well, I'm going again. But my wife said you could see my oldest child just slinking away from me very, very slowly. And as the kid's doing it, the camera gets off me and follows that kid
Uh,
all the way. It types up, "You must be proud." Oh, like, oh my gosh, those are great moments. So, but
oh goodness,
uh,
that's
it's
That's when you feel proud about your dad, kid. Please don't. Please not the dancing kid, Dad. No. I'm
I
gonna.
tell you what, yeah, I do. I love my dad. I miss him. I wish he was around for the streaming. Was an independent electronics repairman.
Oh.
He fixed televisions back in the test tube days.
Oh.
He
Oof.
had to transition into the VCRs, the microwaves, all that stuff. He did tell me a long time ago. He said, "Get your college education." That it was dying, and he was right because he was an independent serviceman. And a few years after he passed, it was like going to a Christmas party, and everybody's complaining about things he said were happening in the industry. But I know, he would love this stuff. He would love the technology. I'm sure. I just know he and I would be talking sports on a stream
Mhm.
and things like that. And
It's
you know,
fat.
it. Go ahead.
No, no. I was just gonna say it's fascinating how you've gone from beta beta
Hmm.
tracks or whatever it was
Right.
to now everything. Now you can store a movie on a flash drive.
Oh yes, it is. It is amazing how that does. He just loved the technology. I know he would be. Hey, I'll do a belly dance, but nobody can see it. There's no camera here
Yeah,
yet. So
we can
yeah,
hear it. We can just hear like, oh, he hit something.
yeah. I just I tell you I love it because if he was here, we I know we'd talk sports, and he was always like calm down because he like it was one of the other things that's over the years. I was always more structured, like I said, with work and everything else, and just somehow in the last few years I've been able to just bullshit
Mhm,
and just talk, and it's come fairly easy once you calm down and relax.
mhm.
And because he always said, just do that. So I think I got a lot of my dad in me as I got older. So, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, the and that's a great thing because I think after a certain point in time, you tend to forget um, what they even look or sound like. Because my mom's dad had passed away. What was it? 2002, long time ago. And of
Hmm.
course, he was lucky enough to pass away in his sleep, so that was a blessing in disguise. But it is sort of like a drop of a hat, and I think, and even for myself, I have to do too. But I think for when it comes to stuff, again, when we're going back to the beginning, where it's like, what's more important? Is it trying to argue about something, or is it trying to understand that, sure, you're trying to get something across and all that stuff, and people have a hard time understanding, or maybe they don't, perspectives are different, and so you don't see it the way someone says, so you have
Hmm.
to try to translate it to the best of your ability. So you have to become a translator and a language coach all in one. But it does come to a point where, what is more valuable of your time, arguing about being right on social media, or finally realizing that it's all BS, and you might as well enjoy the ride and try to meet people, and just, there's so much wonder that kind of gets lost when you become an adult. you know Used to be,
Hmm.
back in the day, kids would just look at the stars and fireflies and all that sort of stuff. Nowadays, you're busy with work, busy with trying to pay the bills. You get stuck to the ground,
Hmm.
and it's sort of the opposite of what Mary Poppins was doing. Let's go fly a
Hmm.
kite, and
Well,
and all that
hmm
stuff.
well, I knew the day we got phones, it was going to be, we're all on, and we are, we're the family, everybody's like on their phone. It's like, I knew
Hmm.
it was going to happen, and I'm one of the worst ones now because I fought it for as long as I can. But you almost have to have a phone nowadays at all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like with my mom and her situation. Always got to have my phone near me in case something happens and things like that. But that's like I said, my dad was my role model, and the sense of integrity he had, and I tell you, as a kid, he'd go in a restaurant and people in the city knew him. He knew the friggin' former mayor. I
Hmm.
mean, all these people just. I'm like, oh, as a kid, it's like, God, my dad's cool and stuff.
Hmm.
Hell, my mom knew about it, but all these women come up to my dad. I'm like 6 years old, and they're showing a bikini like where she had surgery and stuff. And they're like, "Damn, Dad," I was like, just great memories with that, and I just like I said, it's and that's I try to be like him these days,
Mhm.
and
I there was a stream I was on a long time ago, and it was someone else's stream. It wasn't my stream, but it was kind of on. It was a girl who she kind of went away from the social media thing for a while, but I went on her show, and we were kind of talking on the point of parenting. We're like outsiders looking in, sort of thing, not telling what parents should do, that sort of stuff. Because we both have said we don't have kids and whatnot, but we were talking about parenting because a thing to have an opinion on is still something to have an opinion on. You're just coming at it from a different way. And so
hmm
there was someone in her chat who was a parent who was trying to say all these different things, and really was just upset by what we were talking about. But we were really talking about our perspective of what we see of parenting, because parenting is a mixed ball of wax in a brown paper bag, surrounded by barbed wire, and basically you have this whole amalgamation of generational life
hmm
lessons and what people grew up with, spanking and all that. And then you come to the new age stuff talking about spanking's not good. There's a whole ball of stuff here that has a psychological matter to it. And we were just kind of talking on various things here, and it just got bothered this person so much because we didn't understand it. When I was like, of course, because we aren't parents. We aren't in the trenches. We're the people outside the trenches drinking tea while we're watching the History Channel. You're sort of like, you ever see the History Channel when they have like the show of like the war and stuff, like World War II and all
when
this.
they're actually playing history. Sorry.
Yeah, you're you're
Yeah.
bas- you're basically in there, but you're just the sideliners on the chair drinking
Mm-hmm.
tea. Nothing's gonna harm you, but you're sort of like kind of looking at all this stuff, and the people in the trenches are the people who are the parents,
hmm
actual parents. And I think again, speaking on just the outside, is a lot of people kind of let go of being a parent in a way, because even when I was a kid, it'd be like watching TV or a movie or whatever. You'd have parents who would rely on those sort of things to kind of raise their kids to some degree.
hmm
Not all, but there'd be a chunk of them. And the same with now, is just now you see, and it could possibly be social media too, kind of pushing towards that way because all the algorithm stuff. But you do kind of see parents who do allow technology to raise their kids rather than them, because they want to do their own thing. And that's always been a weird thing for me, is in the essence
hmm
of, you want, not all, but there, it does feel like at times there are parents who just want the kid who will listen, so that way they can get on with their day, because hey, we've had a hard day at work and all this stuff. And it just feels like this weird, like, what is parenting at a certain point? And there's
hmm
no manual for it. Obviously
No,
some
there's
people.
not, but there's a lot of people. Like my dad said, everybody's opinions are like buttholes. Everyone's got one, and some smell. It's
But
like because that's the biggest thing. Like with parents, listen. One of the things we learned, yeah, you could do certain things people insist have to do to straighten out a kid. It doesn't work.
mhm,
You got a strong-willed kid, that individual. It happens. But you know what? They'll also blossom
mhm,
when they're time. I mean,
mhm.
they will. You just hope that they don't go into bad influences and get into stuff that they can't get out of.
Yeah,
But
I wouldn't want a kid in a punk band. That's really not.
oh, you better be careful. We got some musicians out there that of course, it's not JT. JT's got his tuba out there, so he's safe.
That's really hardcore punk right there. Is with it.
Yeah, uh, and misses with her flute and all that stuff. We could form a marching band, although
A marching band of rock. There you go. Look at that. We're already getting this up.
well, we got a band formed with our Friday night crew uh, that I hope to unveil Friday night if I can get all 5 of my people there Friday night. Uh,
Ooh.
we got a picture from Grok and we got a great story,
Mhm,
courtesy of one person out here. But
mhm,
and it just makes me smile and laugh.
mhm.
And yeah, it would be cool to form our own band, kind of like SpongeBob did with the marching band
Yeah, that was
that episode.
sweet,
Uh,
sweet victory.
Oh yes, yeah, you remember that episode very well.
It's been a long time. But again, it was sort of that thing that came out like late 2000s, where
hmm
Of course, the original creator of SpongeBob is no longer here, but it's just one of those things where, that was there used to be cartoons on Saturday mornings
Hmm.
and
Yep.
and all that stuff, and then I remember it's like I can't remember when it was, but I remember when Saturday cartoons weren't on because you had to go on cable to watch cartoons. It's like there weren't cartoons on Saturday mornings. Like, where'd it go? Where,
I remember that. I remember they were still around in the '90s. I thought. I mean,
they were, but late, like
yeah,
late
but
late 2000 is where it kind of just shifted away from
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Which,
Well, I know my wife has. I love what she does. She's kind of bringing it back with a Saturday morning cartoon watch type thing,
mhm,
and stuff like that. Kind of bringing back and some of her retro cartoons, and
mhm,
and yeah, that was a different generation. It was so nice. I mean, my typical between August and January was you wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning,
mhm.
watch cartoons till noon, and then it's football. College football kicks off
Yep.
at noon. And it was like there was no boring television, uh, at that point.
Mhm,
But Saturdays were great to look forward. And then Sunday mornings you had the newspaper that had the colored cartoons,
mhm. Yep.
the colored
Sunday.
cartoon strips, and
Yep.
just so much that was changed over the years. Some for the better, some maybe not so much.
Yeah. I it's there's another thing too that's always gotten me to some degree is where people complain how bad the year is, and when the new year comes, they hope it's better, and then
Hmm.
when they get midway through that year, they're like, "Yeah, next year will be better." I'm like, "You just said that about last year."
I think sometimes it's just hope, just hope. Because it's like you do look forward to next year. Next year gets here and it's even worse. Yeah, I know several people that have had years like that lately,
Mhm.
and it's just and that's like I said, that's why you're there for them.
Yeah. Oh, it's who watches TV or reads newspapers anymore? Well, you probably do, Missy, because you're a journalist of sorts. So, um,
Journalists. I'm
yeah,
sorry. Yeah.
that's
No,
what
yeah.
that's what that's what she said to me at least once. I think she might have been lying though. I don't know.
No, she is. She knows her stuff.
Yeah.
See, that's why I like. I see. I'm a big proponent of female creators around this channel. I like some, my wife's channel. Some of the others. Anna's great. I mean, a lot of other female streamers that here. I wish that there were more of them and they had more of a voice where you actually heard them talking. They got a lot of good stuff to say, and it's but sometimes they get drowned out with the guys and just or there's some certain expectations. But I some of my favorite streamers are women. I mean,
Mm,
I love watching Lorena Creole. She's who we've actually met is like we consider a friend in
mm,
real life, and others. I mean, it just there's so much to be said out there, and give them the voice. And like I said, I'd rather listen to some of that than all the yelling about KK being fired and the same old stuff again. It's like,
who
oh my
cares?
God, I feel like I'm getting dumber sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it's like it just goes back to this whole amalgamation of what content creation is because I
Hmm.
can get fudge all about Disney, Hollywood,
Hmm.
politics, all this stuff because the true importance is the true importance is who you can reach across,
Hmm.
right? It's you're
Yeah.
sitting at a table talking with someone like at a diner or whatever. That's
Yeah.
the true matter.
Hmm.
Everything else is beyond is just the white noise in which we've kind
Right.
of induced ourselves into, which is a funny
Hmm.
thing to say because it we in all of our history, we've always created our own problems to some degree. Like we're
Hmm.
not in charge of natural disasters or anything, but we've
Right.
we've certainly created our own problems to get out of them. And it's just a funny aspect. It's not something you see until you back out of it, right? It's not something you
Hmm.
see until you kind of move to the observing perspective. It's just I don't
Hmm.
know. Same thing with what I said earlier about people saying that the next year will be better. The next year will
Yeah.
be better. It it gets tiring, guys. It
Yeah.
really does.
Well, I'll tell you what. That's why I love listening to my wife's streams when I can in the morning.
Mm,
It's about daily dose of positivity. And I tell you, I've seen it. I see it here when I work at home. I mean, it's so funny the joy. she has talking to people in the chat. But what's so funny is I'm sitting there working and I just hear her laughing.
Mhm.
And in spite of if I'm stressed at work or something was at work, there's just something so disarming about her natural laugh. And I'm like, just like, and it was even funnier when she entertains herself laughing at her own stuff. It's like, it's like so incredible to listen to.
Mhm.
And I think that's the beauty of voice. Like we talked about with conversations and stuff.
Mhm. Yeah.
The joy that you can get more from hearing somebody laugh. You deliver good news, you hear the response. And I like I said, my wife is one of my role models too with streaming. She
Mhm.
keeps it positive. She'll it's fun with her with Fortnite. One of the things that we had a bigger streamer. Some of the people we met in YouTube, and actually we met one couple in real life.
Mhm.
They came through a Fortnite because an older gentleman that was a Fortnite streamer
Mhm.
came by one night. He's in our chat and he said hi. He actually subbed. I'm like, okay. So then the next day I went and checked out his channel. I just missed him talking about us, and he repeated it. Uh, and he was saying like, I was just taking the night off, going around Fortnite,
Mhm.
checking out older people, and he's like, I came across this couple. They were cute AF. And like
Mhm.
my wife said, nobody's ever called her cute. But he's like, she's wanting to push. He's like holding, or he's wanting to push. She's wanting to hold back, and then
Mhm.
he's standing. She's like, where are you? You left me. You left me. But then he's like, I'm right here above you.
Mhm.
And it's just like I love streaming with my wife with Fortnite. I will
Yeah.
tell you that has been one of the best things in the last year too, as we do date night
Mhm.
and stuff like that, where it's just the two of us to get
Yeah.
all the other noise and voices out of the head and have that time with her. It's kind of like our couple time,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of fun, and people have really responded well to it and like it,
Mhm.
and um, like I said, I'm going to spend some of this time bragging on her because she doesn't ask for it.
Mhm.
She's one of the most humble people you could ever meet, but she is incredible, loving, and do anything for anybody. And so I just want to make sure I really shout her out properly because I would, like I said, I would not be here without her.
Mhm.
She
I
got me started.
Yeah, I think she would shout herself out because if she's talking in the other room.
No, she would. That's the thing is she doesn't want the attention.
Uh-huh.
She doesn't. She truly she likes to stay below the radar, and she's had to learn, the adjustment when you get monetized. Some people hate asking for money and stuff like
Mhm.
that, but you have to learn that balance of doing things like that because she truly is so humble
Mhm.
and does not like to focus on herself. She shies away from the attention,
Mhm.
and like I said, it's a breath of fresh air, and I've learned to appreciate her even more because she's kept me on the air, literally and figuratively.
Mhm.
Uh, and she did great with my first stream ever because she came on to encourage me.
Mhm.
And anybody that's listened to my first stream ever, it's like, oh my god! I don't know if you ever heard Alec Baldwin try to just talk radio. Yeah, it was like that. I really,
You
I
you
can't listen to it again.
you put Alec Baldwin and radio in the same sentence. I think that's funny
Well,
enough.
he did. I don't know if you ever saw it, but I don't know, one talk show host played it, the clips of it. He's like, yeah, uh, yeah, thank y'all for being here. Let's go to the callers. Oh, we have no callers. Oh, that's nice. I mean, it was like as bad as you thought it was. It was.
And the next caller is no one. Ta-da!
Oh, he dropped. He fell off.
Oh
But
yeah, that's when you know you don't have someone who can who can just
mm-hmm.
Rolodex it, right?
Yeah.
Like like again that's why I like the show Whose Line Is Anyway because these
Oh
are
God, I
people.
love them.
It's a hilarious show. I mean, I think Alex was trolled by the callers. Well, I don't think we need to lay on Alex any further because he's already done it. He did it to himself with one trigger.
No, he didn't. He had no callers. He had no callers. That was fun. Oh yeah. Hey, that makes it a great stream.
Yeah, that makes it the Anna's a grandma stream. I can't remember where the button is. Does anyone? Grandma Anna. That's what we'll call her.
I tell you, I thought about like a minute in, I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to restart the stream because I don't see anything going. I'm like, oh wait, we are recording. Okay, we're fine. We don't have to restart the stream. I was like, then my kid came. I came in with all these PG-13 rules, all this stuff. My kid came into the chat with the penis word,
Oh. Oh.
and it's like came on as, and I'm like, well, there went, and of course we've embraced the craziness since then. So, uh,
Listen,
it just,
listen, honey, we need to that word. It's not to
yeah.
be said anywhere else. It
No,
wasn't.
no, no. It's like the kid's got their own mind. They're an adult. So it's like, oh, great. So, hey, what monster did I create?
Only starts podcast. Only mama calls in. Aw.
Yeah.
Mama, stop calling me. I'm on the stream.
One of the best ones a friend of mine had. There's two things too. Um, if you want to hear, because how I got started, there are two things: college football and
Mm,
Fortnite.
mm.
Okay, that's my avatar with the banana football. My kid Ang made that for me,
Oh
and
wow.
so yeah, so that's what happened with that. I was pushing people so much to do Fortnite. This one streamer made a meme. There's a meme out there with all the seagulls from from Nemo. It
Yeah.
says mine, mine, mine. It's like my face at the time, my Tiki doll avatar, and it
Mm,
said Fortnite, 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 Fortnite. So that's how crazy that was. And
nice.
then they got me once on their stream because my mother was calling, and I did not mute. And I'm going like, Mrs., can you answer the phone? Or Mrs., can you call my mom?
Oh.
It was a perfect whiny. I was like, God, I couldn't. She used that against me. I was like, yeah. Even when I said it, I cringed. I'm like, I'm gonna pay for that one. I'm gonna pay for that one.
And welcome to the closet of the most embarrassing things that DadManWalking is doing. We'd like to go over here where he tried to do accents and his wife told him no. Um,
Yep, yep, absolutely.
there was a newspaper being used to silence the man, but he said no. He was like, "You can't take me alive. I'm not going out without saying a few words."
I'm giving it all she's got, Captain.
Almost sounds like a border, like a surfboarder. like bro, like the can't give her no more power. She just won't move, Captain.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'm hopelessly. Would you like a spot of tea?
Oh come on, that's like Americans doing the Cockney. It's like, oh governor, right,
Uh, Good day, governor. I
right,
just
right. Well, actually, and the funny thing is like I used to, I don't anymore, but I used to play the game, Witcher 3, and you have
mhm.
like these different form. You have like a Scottish, accent, all this stuff, but you have like these, uh, and of course the audiobook too for the Witcher was like, "Oi, Witcher, how you doing, Witcher? I hear there's a bird beast on the lands, Witcher," and stuff like that. And you're just like, "I think I can get that, but that might be a little
see,
hard
see,
to do."
see. At least you've got. You're halfway there. I have no talent. I can't even get close. The only thing I can do is Principal McVicker from Beavis and Butthead. Shut up. Uh, I mean, how the hell can I do Principal McVicker? I can't do anybody else. I try to do Beavis Cornholio every once in a while, but that freaked people out in my sister's house one day when I did it.
Look,
So,
you were here on my show, and I have to listen to you to get all through the stuff. And it's like, I get him off the stage.
oh God.
It's not the best Arnold Schwarzenegger, but it's
No, hey, it was better than what I could have done. Put the cookie down. You know, it's not a tumor.
Please, my lord, no more cookies. I can't handle more of this.
Please, sir, may I have some more?
Oh, there's that Oliver Twist. Get him out of here. He don't own it no more.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh, yeah, Mrs. Remind me. When we were at a wedding of somebody very, very close to us, and we're
mm,
sitting there, and it's like my wife is beating the crap out of my leg. I thought it was going to be bruised. Like, what the hell's your problem, woman?
Yeah.
She's like, that song, that song, that song. I think it was, God, which was it? Oh, God, it's not Oliver Twist. It was something else where basically He Needs Me is the song is He Needs Me.
Well,
And
I think that I think that is that's
okay,
probably from the Oliver Twist movie, the music
okay, well,
came out.
He Needs Me. But and she's like beating my leg up. I'm like, what's your problem?
Yeah,
Because the girl was singing it as dedication to the new couple.
yeah,
And she's like, Dad, there's the prostitute
yeah,
praising her abusive.
yeah, yeah,
I'm like, okay, that's fine, but take it easy on my leg.
yeah. Yeah, that's
I'm
funny
like,
because I remember, and it's funny enough. I have a music video that kind of does a remix on that. But it if you were to watch the I don't know if it was on Broadway or they just did like a studio thing, but it basically is her kind of like it's she's in an in between position because if no one's seen it in the end, she does get killed by her. Uh,
oh,
hit.
really? It's even worse.
Yeah, it's sort of her like he needs me sort of thing. It's just like, yeah, that's not good. But then it's like she wants to be sweet to Oliver. She wants to be sort of like, hey, forever, how are you, good sir? Um,
Hello.
but it's sort of like she wants to be sweet to Oliver because Oliver doesn't know who his real. He doesn't even know if it's any family of his is alive because he only has that locket. But I don't know. Have you ever seen that movie, the Oliver Twist with the um that was like on the movie sort of thing. I can't remember.
No, I have not. I have not.
Yeah,
It's one of the many things I probably should watch with the missus.
yeah.
But
It's really good. It is a musical. So it is a
mhm,
there are speaking parts and then there are musical
mhm.
parts, but
I like musicals.
it's
I
not
like
like
yeah,
okay.
I
It's
like musicals. My favorite is Les Miserables. So
it's Les Miserables.
I know, but I like to say it Southern redneck. Them French, we're gonna call them Les Miserables.
I will say
Huh.
this though, when I had Anna on, I was doing an Australian accent, and she was like, "That's not how it goes." And I said, "Suck it, you're on my show." But it's like it's like
You know the mic.
you know you go round right over there. You know, like there's a trolley right over there. I thought studio crashed and you froze for about 15 seconds. No, I'm still here. I'm still here, Neuro. Um, but oh god, I pressed the wrong one. But it's not like I go around there. There's a dingo right over there, right? I'll try to go over the hump. I'll go over the hump right there, and then I see a dingo for a kangaroo over there. It's insane. It's insane. So I go around there, and a part of this is sort of like when I used to watch the Monty Python because they'd have a skits like, "Hey, Bruce, right there, Bruce, hey, Bruce, right there." They have that sort of thing, but you listen to. I've had a few Australians, and you listen to them, and they don't. It's very different again between male and
Mhm,
female. Bug for yeah, that'll be sometime soon. But it's sort of like again, you just do it because you have fun with it because you are
mhm.
hearing how they sound out words, and you're kind of emulating how it sounds. So like for you, you just sit right there. You just sit right there, and then you try to go over that hump right there, and then you gotta look at that. That's a koala over there, and then I say, wait a second, that's not a koala, that's a wombat. And then people are looking at you just like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm all from Australia, right? Right there. It's a funny thing, right? If you think about it, Australia is nothing but an English prison.
Right. It's like Georgia, Georgia was the American English prison, one of the Australians. So there you go, Atwood. Take that for your Georgia. And for all you Australians and for my friend out there, Foster's Australian for beer.
Yeah, yeah. I come here. It's time to pump. You are, yeah.
Oh my god.
That's an SNL thing. Oops. Oh, there we go.
Uh oh. Hello.
Yep, it did it for the 2 hour part. But anyway, it's like from the SNL. It's like, we are here to pump you up.
I love so Rumble does that at 2 hours. Oh boy.
Not at 2
We
hours.
we've actually
Very,
done like
it's
4 or 5
very.
24-hour streams.
Mm,
So
yeah,
so
they have issues of their own, but
yeah,
I still you can refresh and get back on.
that's
Um,
cool.
but yeah, I just like playing around with the accents, and I try to do at least be reasonable with it because again you have Americans doing like a Cockney accent, and they get very oh yo about it, and it's just like that's probably not how you listen to Michael Caine. Michael Caine's Cockney, and you don't really hear that. He's very
Yeah.
pronounced.
See, I do it. Give it just my best effort. I don't mean any disrespect to anybody. I mean, I'm literally trying my hardest, the best to do what I can do. Now, I
Mm.
wish my wife would speak more with a British accent. I love it when she does. So, you
A,
know,
s- a spot
she
of
can do it.
tea, Roger. Oh, Jolly Roger. Well, I've been listening. So it's funny thing is I've been listening to um some Sherlock Holmes. There's a BBC did a audio drama of the Sherlock Holmes stories, and you can just sit there and listen to them. Hear how they sound stuff. It's like pot of good tea there, Watson. Is like, oh Holmes, you're always such a drag on things. Right there.
Yeah.
But it's just again, it's like I hear it every single day in South London. Oh look right here, look at she's right here, right? She's pronounced. Oh, look, she's a smarty.
South London. Okay.
It's like
South of London.
South London is like underground London, except
Oh.
goodier. She's gonna be like, that's not how it sounds like. Oh, what are you gonna try to do? What are you gonna do, wench? You gonna try to do something else to me, right?
Oh gosh, that's
you
hilarious.
you can't do nothing on the other side of that screen, young lady. So you might as well get used to it, and you might as well listen to us get here. But anyway, it's
Hey, she's the one that wanted the accents tonight.
she did say, you better do the English accent. I said, game on, and I said,
Yeah.
what you want to do it now, love? You want to do it now? You want to do it right here?
Did you see my wife's? See, I did the Grinch smile. Like, yeah, yeah. But did you? My wife did a big screaming no. To the,
She'll get to sitting and listen to us all day, listening to right here. Hey, you hear us? Yeah.
yes,
He's like, can you hear me now across the waters? Yeah.
I know. It's
I'm just Anna's over there screaming in her seat because it sounds so wrong. And I said, that's right. Daddy says hello.
well. See, I like to do it on, like I said, with her around on Wednesday nights, and
Uh,
then with West and the missus. Except the missus sometimes threatens to quit the stream.
uh,
I like to just coming up with random accents, like for the hell of it, just for the
mm,
fun of it,
yeah.
and
As long as you're having
like.
fun with that. Yeah.
Oh, I could do Principal McDicker for 3 hours. God, that's like a curse. It's
Yeah.
like my friend said actually once a long time ago. You actually do that one good.
Yeah.
It's like how, why? You know, give me an obscure character. I might be able to do it every once in a while. It's
You,
like when my wife says, "You're funny when you don't try."
wow.
No, she's right though. She's right though.
Right.
She's right though. 'Cause, I mean, my wife is right about so much stuff. It's like, but I gotta argue just because why I'm a man. So, but
I am a man. Hear me roar. Roar.
I gotta be right. She's like, it just always reminded me. We'll be married 30 years in January.
Wow. Congratulate. Oh,
Thank you.
January. Wow. That's next year. Wow. That's
Yep,
wow.
it's coming
Not
up.
bad.
We got married on her brother's birthday.
Oh, that's something.
That's the way. That's how she remembers the birthday. The wedding is her brother's birthday. What that was a story in of itself. Uh, that was a story of itself how we
Mhm.
met. Because I almost didn't see. It happens. She's had a long day too. Because I walked up to the miss. I said I used one of my dad's lines. I said, "Hey babe, I'm the make fade head you created for." It worked. Leopard pants, purple Doc Martens, had her hooked. Now, if you believe that, I got a bridge to sell you somewhere in South Florida.
Uh,
But
I
but yeah,
I I believe it, but I don't believe it no more. Um, but anyways, this is gonna be a very long stream. It is very long indeed. See you later, Last Command Jeff. Have a
take
good
care,
one.
Jeff. Good to see you again. Thanks for coming by tonight. And everybody, make sure you've subscribed on his YouTube side or follow him on Rumble.
Yes, Deadman likes to argue, and the later says I should have listened to you. Well, love, sometimes it's best to listen, right? Best to
Hmm.
listen. But anyway, it is getting to the There you go. It is getting to the end of the show, so we're gonna start winding down from there, right? We're gonna start winding down from there because I do have to get up in the morning for work, and I do have to get tomorrow's show
How
ready.
early do you have how early, if you don't mind me asking, how early
7.
do you have?
We'll have to be at work by 7, but I have to get up earlier than that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a lot better when I used to do custodial work for a nonprofit organization and had to be up like at 3 something to be there before because they didn't have a female worker to clean out the women's locker room. So I'd have to be
Yeah.
up there early enough. So yeah, oh, thank you for that. But yeah, it was not a fun time having to wake up that early, but
See, I'm kind of a good spot. I'm 20 minutes away from where I'm working right now because I
mhm,
rotate in different places. I
mhm,
can sleep till 7 o'clock. I keep telling everybody that worry about my sleep. If I can sleep till 7 o'clock, I'm fine.
mhm,
Even if I go to bed at 5 a.m., there's something about 7 o'clock, and then I'm fine. I'll crash eventually later. But it's like see, I'm a night owl trapped in a 8 to 5 job.
mhm,
My wife used to work overnight at the TV station, either 3 to 1 a.m.
mhm,
or 7 p.m. to 5 a.m.
mhm,
I love going with her to work on the weekends and just staying up overnight. I love the
mhm,
dark,
mhm,
but it's like it doesn't do well when you're an accountant and they all
mhm.
want you like there in normal business hours. So,
And
but
then he said with his wife, "I'm Batman," and she said, "Yeah, honey, turn on the lights." Ah, curses!
yeah,
She saw me again.
yes,
But anyway, so
yeah.
we're gonna start slowly heading out. But I will be doing a wrap up portion after, and you're all welcome to join me. But you have to be Rumble Premium user, so we'll get to that later. But anyway, again, all his links are down below on both Rumble and YouTube. But I will let the good man speak for himself. So the floor is yours, Mister DMW.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Well, it's an honor and it's been great to be here tonight. I tell you, if you did not have to leave and do other things, I would stay on because we have done squirrel streams to 8 hours at time, completely random. We've
Mm-hmm,
done a 4, 5, 6, 24-hour streams. 2 years in a row, we've done around the world,
mm-hmm,
bringing in New Year's in every time zone around the world.
mm-hmm,
And of course, I had a 24-hour Fortnite stream, which was the worst. I mean, the person did it with me. With also, we stopped about 5 a.m. and we're like, she talked sports. We were like, where's that? And then people came in later and helped us. So I love the 24-hour stream concept,
mm-hmm.
but you have to rest well. I learned you have to hydrate and rest well before you do that. But
Yeah.
of course, like I said, my three primary shows that are really regular right now is Monday nights with Jess around 6 o'clock. With Fortnite, of course, Wednesday and Friday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. We have our squirrel streams late night with DadMan, from porta potties to fruit cakes, where they got the name because we spend an hour and a half on each topic on different streams.
Mm-hmm,
And I have chillin' whists that come up. I will have them this month with a collected goat the next 2 weeks, and Anna will be at the end of the month.
mm-hmm.
And I hope to get a little more regular with scheduling and stuff like that. But listen, the main thing is, folks, come by, say hi. We love it. Even if you lurk, we like to hear a hi because we like to personally say hello to everybody
Mm,
as much as we can. I know a lot of people lurk or have to, and that's interesting, but we always love to say hi to know
mhm,
who out there lurking because it does tell us that somebody's around. And I know the missus does too. But like I said, you guys bring us some and bring me joy as much as whatever you get out of the stream.
mhm,
And I do live by the motto, people before streams. I
mhm.
try to live that way as much as I can. Occasionally I fell on stream, but we're all human. Sometimes things happen.
Yeah.
But honestly, uh, I'm here to, I hope to be the person that you see on the stream. I want to be known and be authentic and real and just, y'all come have fun with us. Expect the unexpected. I mean, there'll be times when we'll script it and there'll be things, but embrace the chaos and it's the
Mhm,
fun. Whether it's our Fortnite streams blowing up gas stations or whatever the heck it is. So if you like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, all at DadManWalking55. The best way to know when I go live is on Twitter because I
mhm,
always tweet out the link and when I'm going live.
mhm,
And unfortunately, being so scattered, that is the best way because people don't always get the YouTube notifications. So, but
Yeah,
I mean that's it. And may I say something about my wife's channel real quick?
sure.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you need to pick up in the morning, her daily show's 10 a.m. Eastern. Morning Muses with Mrs. Dadman, a daily dose of positivity. It's Monday through Wednesday, and then on Friday at 10 o'clock. Go by, and she does a lot of other stuff. Check out her channel too if you can. But her morning show is so uplifting and great, and I would not be here without my wonderful wife. And she does not get enough praise and shout out here because she's kept me going through a lot of stuff in
Hmm.
spite of a lot of her own problems. And I thank you for putting the links for me, Daramouthe, and I
Hmm.
appreciate coming on with you tonight and having a load of fun.
No, no, yeah. Thank you for taking up the opportunity. Yeah, because I see it as a, like I said before, I see it as a two-way street rather than a one-way street. Because we both get something out of it in the end.
Mhm.
But again, his like I said, his links are down below on both Rumble and
And
YouTube.
to that point, honestly, my job is to make you look good. A good guest helps the host look great. And Jeremy, I'm really impressed, and it's good to finally get to meet you and be here with you. And this has been a blast of fun. You're a great guy, and
Thank
folks, make sure you give this guy the support he needs. So,
man, stack me up, and I'm more of like a folding flack of stuff of scaffolding, whatever. Um, That's always the best thing about it, though. I think in the content creator sphere, humility is the best antidote to what we kind of see with what's going on out there. Because if you're not humble within this thing, and at least somewhat transparent, because there are some things you can't always talk about, which is fine. But if you're not humble and at least somewhat transparent, being a content creator, then you'll probably fall into the cracks and stuff that other content creators fall into, where it doesn't feel like that. And you've already seen all the different controversies and stuff. And at the end of the day, this is just about making connections across the way, rather than uh, rather than all the other things that a lot of people pay attention to. Because I can
mhm.
tell you what, you can have all the followers and things in the world, and usually followers don't mean views, but it comes to a point where there are a lot more silly things than anything else, and we accept a lot of silly things in our life. Some of it great, and some of it not so great. But this is one of those silly things I'm willing to accept. But anyway, his
And
links
I do
down
love
below.
your notepads on the back of the wall, though. That's
Post-it notes, yeah, those
the
are all
post-it
the.
notes. Yeah, no
So
animal, not touch them. Don't mess with a man's system.
well, the thing of it was is sort of like when I first started out, there was nothing there. It was just that grayish color. And so someone's like, you could use some color on the back of your wall. And what happened was is because I streamed both Rumble and YouTube. Now obviously I'm not monetized on YouTube, so it is what it is. But on YouTube I'm already monetized right away. So anyone who would give a Rumble rant would, get a post-it note. And there was it kind of took the idea from another content creator I followed at the time, and they, every time they got whatever, like a gifted sub or whatever from whatever platforms they were on, they'd post a note and put it up there. But any amount really, I would just write it down, put it up there, and this kind of took care of that, right? I now have color with purple. These are my different colors, you know, of what I have. So
Oh man, yeah,
that it
I
took care
love
of that.
that. It's a filing system. It's a coding system. We do
Mhm.
that at work sometimes. I had different color post-it notes to tell me different things. What's pending? What's finished? You
Well,
know.
it's really just when people donate a Rumble rant. That's whatever the amount is. That's what goes up on the wall. So that's what you see. Those are all Rumble rants on the
Yeah.
wall there. But that explains that part. But anyway, but yes, his links are down below. And thank you, thank you for that, Anna, and thank you for that too, there, Neuro. But anyway, for my end of things, whether you're on the Rumble side, whether on the YouTube side, it doesn't matter which side you're on because I stream to both places and will continue to do so. If you wouldn't mind leaving a like, sharing the content, leaving a comment or follow, any help with the engagement factor is much appreciated because not only does it help in being seen more, like all content creators want to be, but it also helps in having other people on, like Dadman, like Alaska Man Jeff, like Anna, like Clifton. I've had Clifton on; he's really really good. So many other people. At the end of the day, it's all about making connections across the way and having conversations about whatever. Because why not? Right?
Hmm.
So, any help with the engagement factor, of course, there's a link down below as well. You can go to that link. You can see my Twitter X, my email, like a Discord thing, but it's mostly just for DMing. I don't have a server. I just don't have the mental capacity to do more. So there is that. Um, thank you, Anna. Much appreciated for you being here on both ends. But of course, again, like I said earlier, I am running a hold on, I gotta find them. I am running. So if you're on the Rumble side, or if you're someone who's interested, did he put them up? Oh, thank you for that, Neuro. They're a little back behind, but yes, that's my link down below. You can click on that. You'll find my stuff, and then of course I've gotta find. Hold on. I posted that. Let's see. Nope, not that one. I've got to find. Aha. Okay, so if you're a Rumble user, creator, or someone who's interested in Rumble, I am doing these surveys, one for creator, one for viewer, that are about gathering data on issues, wish list stuff that people have on Rumble or about Rumble. And if you are interested in giving your feedback, you can go to that link that's provided again, once for viewer, once for creator. Uh, and again, it's if you view yourself as both, guess what? You can give your data on both. Again, it's just about collecting data, and at the end, giving people a visual of that data, because there's really not much to be seen visual wise. That is given by Rumble. So there's that. And of course, the last thing is the one I got from the creative partner program from Proton. If you've never heard about them, uh, they're stationed in Switzerland. They're all about privacy and security. They have a bunch of different products, but one of them is the Proton Mail. I use it. A lot of other people I know use it. It really just helps out in protecting from the spammers and scammers. Allows you the ability to use alias emails instead of your direct email, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Again, you can go to that link right there. There's a lot more they explain, but at the end of the day, I use the product. I'm promoting the product because I believe it can be beneficial to a lot of people who are worried about, a bunch of different things for mail. And they have a free version and they have paid versions. So whatever's works for you, that's great. If not, that's fine too. Again, I'm not a great marketer. I'm not a great seller, but I'm in the partner program, so I'm at least going to try. At least I'm going to try. So there's that. But anyway, there we go. That. So again, that's the end of that. And of course, tomorrow at
By the way, Daramouthe,
yes.
congratulations. I think you got at least 2 more subs tonight
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I
on the YouTube side.
yeah, it's a funny thing is that everyone experiences growth on platforms differently. Some grow
Hmm.
better on YouTube and Twitch and all that stuff, but YouTube's more slow than the Rumble side. So,
Hmm.
but still, I'm gonna still go there no matter what. But anyway, tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, I'm gonna have a gentleman by the name of Sweez, WSW Sweeziest. That's right, Sweeziest is on tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. He came in at the right time. Look at that. He's going to be on tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to see what this guy is all about, well, guess what? You'll have that opportunity tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. Now, he's more of a gamer than anything else, as far as I know, but having a conversation with someone always opens new doors. So come see me and the Sweeziest tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. Should be a great time. And of course, the last thing I do with my guest before we ride this rodeo. Of course, again, like I said, I'm going to have a wrap up after this. If you're a Rumble Premium, because I'm part of the creator program on Rumble, so there's a premium thing I have to suffice. But if you have Rumble Premium, you're great. You should be able to see it. If not, you'll still get this full show. No biggie, right? But anyway, the last thing I do with my guest is questions from the hat. Now, yes, I did kind of rearrange the scenes from the hat sort of
Oh,
thing, but yeah.
I'm
So
excited. I'm surprised. Okay, cool.
yeah.
Awesome.
So what I did was about a hat from Rumble. I put some questions in it. So what's going to happen is that you, Mr. DMW, are going to get 2 freebie questions. Now, again, like I said, I am not monetized on YouTube. So sorry, YouTube people, but it is what it is. However, if you're on the Rumble side, I am monetized over there. And If you want to see more than the 2 questions pulled out, guess what? All you have to do is give a rant. Doesn't matter the amount, $1 to 500, doesn't matter the amount. You do have to give a rumble rant to pull another one out. But I have seen people use and abuse the $1 one. So, hey, you can pull out many questions with that. But anyway, we're going to go for the first question of the 2, unless someone gives a rumble rant. Of course, see you later, Bob. Have a good one. But anyway, we're going to see what question will we pull out today. What will?
No pressure. Wow.
No pressure. What is the root square of pi?
Uh,
No, that's not the question. What's here's one. What's the most useless superpower you can think of?
God. Oh my! How do you answer that? Oh boy.
Maybe that should be the superpower to answer a useless question.
Yeah. Oh man. Gosh.
We could try another one if you don't want to.
No, let's see if I can get that. It's just like probably not based on characters and stuff, but most useless superpower I'd say is watching paint dry.
Yeah, and I know people have probably made content off that.
Yeah.
Just watch picture.
Hey,
Oh,
I'm dead, man. What can I say? But yeah, it's that's a hard question, you know. It's just like, but yeah, I'd say watching paint dry.
Some of these are well. It's funny thing is like some of these aren't hard to be asked, but to answer them can be difficult.
That's the thing is, see, I do something with people when I ask them a series of questions. Stuff. It's always easier when you ask the question than when you field the question.
But yeah, because you have to kind of figure out, okay, so how would I put myself in that situation, sort of thing. But anyway, here's question number 2.
Okay.
And unless someone gives a rumble rant, that will be it. Oh, okay. This question is sort of taken from superpower, being able to fart on demand. That's not useless. That I will not agree with that. That's not useless.
Well, especially if you want to clear a room out. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. If you're in a, if
Oh
you're
my God. Can I share a story with that real quick?
sure.
One of the worst stories. You know, I'm about 18 to 20, something in that area. You know, I'm on the prowl. You know, that stuff. Being young. My dad, we're in a Kmart, and I'm probably about 40 feet away from it, 40 yards. That was a good distance. There was a great looking chick coming from the other direction, about equidistant.
Mm-hmm.
I all of a sudden noticed my dad just walk up an aisle and disappears. And no sooner do me and this hot chick meet we walk in and we hit the gas at the same time my dad left behind. Her eyes got so big, and I'm like, damn it, Dad. It's like, anyway.
You ruined my
Yeah, I know. It's like, it was beautiful. It's like,
she was beautiful until my
she looked at me smiling, but it wasn't a good smile.
You were beautiful till my eyes burned.
Exactly. Smelly. I gave him crap after, and he took glee in it. He was laughing about that. He knew exactly what he did. He saw her coming and saw it. Anyway, it was so fun.
I think that's a really good superpower, to be honest, to have.
Okay.
But that's just me. But anyway, this question comes. Have you ever seen the show Actor Studio with James Lipton? He would
No, I
ask,
haven't.
well, he would ask an array of questions, same array of questions to his guests, which were
Okay.
celebrities of sort. But this is one of those questions. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say to you at the pearly gates?
I have to answer this one seriously. Well done, faithful servant.
Mm-hmm.
Be faithful to him, help others, and like I said, it's not about me to help the others before myself.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I would say.
Yeah. Well, I've asked that a few times before. And it's like really don't know how to answer the ones like, well, I should be easy enough.
No,
Yeah.
that's a good easy. That's an easy answer for me.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
yeah, it's a lot to think about. But like I said, it's like I want to be faithful, and I want to be what like I say that on air is like I want it's what my life represented and it
Mm-hmm.
means to others around. Like you said, we're not guaranteed tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
and
It's,
those relationships that you have with people,
mm-hmm.
you better cherish them for why you have it, and the
Mm-hmm.
people that want to be with you and care about you,
Mm-hmm.
hold them close, keep them close. We've learned that in the last few years,
Mm-hmm.
and just and not just with people and stuff. There's just other things have happened, and we've lost people, and I mean in real life,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like uh, be good to each other. It's
Mm-hmm.
like my wife ends up with, um, be kind, be good to each other,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not guaranteed tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could quote it like she does,
Mm-hmm.
um, but it's serious. And I know we had fun. We had really fun tonight. But seriously, though, I can't say that enough
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
everybody. Cherish those that you have every day you got, and the people that want to be with you, hold them and don't let them go. Is
Mm-hmm.
all I can say.
Yeah. And what a great life lesson to learn, but one that easily gets forgotten, as with
Mm-hmm.
most things in life. But anyway, again, like I said before, I'll be doing a wrap up. It'll be premium only on the Rumble side. So if you're not, at least you get the full report of the show. If you are, you can join me for a little bit. We're going to make some memes because I found a website where you can easily make some memes. So we're going to be making. We're gonna be making a few memes. So if you want to join me for that, great. If not, well, guess what? I started out with 0 people watching me. I may, it won't matter all the same, but I'll enjoy the company along the way. So anyway, that will be right after the show. But if not, I thank you for coming here, and of course, thank you, Dad Man, for coming as well. You're always welcome to come back, of course, because conversation never ends. It's always on to something else every time.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on, though.
Uh,
Thank you
you're
very much.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's always nice when people take up the opportunity and just enjoy the ride, even if they don't know what they're gonna get into. It didn't get anything harmful. Okay, he's safe. He's alive. But just remember, roller coasters do get off the rails once in a while. But anyway,
It's the journey. It's the adventure and the journey. Because I tell you what, I know you're wrapping up. One of the best things my wife and I ever did was 2 years ago.
mm,
We took a 16-day tour
ooh,
from. We went 6,000 miles, 60 hours driving,
mm,
all the way up to Yellowstone, up in Wyoming,
mm,
back to Florida.
wow.
It was supposed to be a family trip, but
Mm,
halfway, how that says, we are kind of like, forget it. We started just doing our own thing.
yeah, I
We
was.
were in the mountains of yes, all that up there.
Mm,
First time she and I have ever been off together, like in an unknown world.
mm,
That was the most liberating, wonderful experience that I've ever had, and I really wish we could do it again or have it because those moments were precious. And
mm.
so sorry, I'm rambling again about it
Hey,
because it just meant that much to us,
yeah.
and it's those moments that mean a lot. But yeah, it was. But it was the first time we ever did anything where we were way, way, way away from family in
Mm,
the middle of nowhere doing stuff, and we had our one single serpentine belt in the car,
mm,
screaming at 9,000 feet on the Continental Divide, and we got home. It was like almost shot gone. So how
wow.
we got home, who knows what?
Jeez, yeah, that's that. Yeah, that car doesn't run if it's broken. But also, if you're on the trails, be safe and stay
Yep.
on the trails. Don't do off beaten
Oh
path. Because
gosh, yes.
yeah, that's how
And
people get lost and never
don't
seen
mess with the
again.
animals either.
Yeah,
That just
don't feed the bears, even though they may look cute. It's like, oh, he's reaching for the food. No, the bear will eat you next if you don't behave yourself. Uh,
well, the
But
bison are kind of rough too if you mess with them.
yeah, that they'll get you out if you are not careful. That's the nature is not funny, kids. It may look cute, but at the end of the day, Mr. Gorilla Man will squash you like a bug if you are not careful. So, but enough about the warnings of life. enough about that. I end the show with "One Day with You" by Pogo, and of course, if you want to see where all these videos come from, there are two different distinct links. One from Pogo and one from Smuffy are down there that link to their channel, because I enjoy their stuff and I don't get copyrighted for it or a copyright strike on YouTube. I just get a content ID thing. But at the end of the day, I enjoy the work, and uh, I'm not interested in trying to pay hundreds of dollars to buy a song, or whatever. But anyway, One Day With You by Pogo. If you're a Rumble Premium user, see you at the wrap up. If not, I will see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern with Squeeze. Until next time, guys. Bye.
Good night.